Rensselaer and Houston Fieldhouse for tonight's ECAC matchup between the Yale Bulldogs and your Engineers of Rensselaer. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the visitors from Yale, starting in the goal, number 30, Patrick Spano. At left defense is number 16, Anthony Walsh. At right defense, number 6, Bill Sweezy. The starting forwards for Yale, at left wing, number 7, Joe Sidley. At center, number 28, Ryan Hitchcock. And at right wing for Yale, number 21, John Aiken. The rest of the Yale Bulldogs, their head coach is Keith Miller. You suck too! And now, let's meet tonight's starters for the Engineers of RPI. Leading your team on the ice tonight, the junior engineer, please welcome Drew Keller. Starting in the goal, a sophomore from Andover, Minnesota, number 35, Chase Berry. At left defense is a junior for Calgary, Alberta, number 13, Jared Wilson. At right defense, a senior from Edina, Minnesota, number 2, Parker Reno. He's starting forward line for the Engineers. He's a junior from Edina, Minnesota, number 23, Lou Manning. At center, a senior from Bloomingdale, Illinois, number 20, Jay DeVito. And at left, a senior from Georgetown, Ontario, number 27, Jake Wood. The rest of the Engineers and their head coach, Seth Alpert. Assistant coaches, Brian Vines and Nolan Brown. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise as the RPI Pep Band will play the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America.
tonight's contest. We'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI. All club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Once you browse to WRPI.org, you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet stream. Once again, that is WRPI.org. Engineers in their home whites with red and black trim. The Yale Bulldogs wearing Yale blue with white trim.
Tom, it'll be interesting to see. You were talking about Patrick Spanner not getting many starts last year. Of course, behind Alex Lyon. Lyon was one of the most recruited college athletes graduating last year. Several NHL teams were looking to sign him to an AHL contract, and ultimately the Lehigh Valley Phantoms ended up winning that suite as he signed with them and has so far had 2 starts with the Phantoms.
Absolutely. He was, no question, one of the best netminders in college hockey last season, and Yale certainly needing to fill in net just as the Engineers are needing to fill in net from the departure of Jason Kasdorf. Engineers going from right to left across your radio dial here in the first period of tonight's contest. Jimmy DeVito is going up against Ryan Hitchcock for the opening faceoff, won by the Engineers, but it's turned over rather quickly, ends up down in the Engineer end. Puck swings down to the near side, up and out to Wood, who will chase it down. Giving chase for the Bulldogs is Anthony Walsh. Yale heading the other way with it, 2-on-2 through the neutral zone. Into the zone is Hitchcock. Hitchcock takes a kind of a weak shot that goes off the side of the cage. Ends up on the near side, up for Larkin at the point. Larkin with 2 goals this season for the Bulldogs takes a shot that gets blocked in front and goes into the near corner. Now on the puck is John Hayden, as a penalty now is coming up on the Engineers. So an early penalty on RPI. It's going to be a holding call in the first minute of this contest. And so we will get an opportunity to see that #1 penalty kill in the nation for RPI, as it is Parker Reno heading off for holding. The Engineers 93.9% on the penalty kill. They've only given up 3 power play goals, and they've scored 3 shorthanded goals as well. That is first in the nation. Power play for Yale is hitting at 25% right now. That is tied for 6th, but this is only Yale's 3rd game of the season, so a small sample size. As we get back underway, the Engineers won the face-off in their own zone and sent it all the way down ice, so the Bulldogs were set up behind their own net. Coming up with it is Chandler Lindstrand. He drops off for Evan Smith. Evan Smith over to his brother Mitchell Smith across the blue line on the near side. He does battle along the boards with the Engineer penalty kill. It is Evan Smith who comes away with it. Evan Smith now along the blue line takes a shot, and that is gloved down by Chase Perry.
Nice job by Tommy Grant in front of the net, keeping the traffic away from Chase Perry so he could get a nice angle on the puck and follow it all the way to the net.
18:43 remaining in the first period. Still no score between RPI and Yale, and 1:25 remaining on the holding call against Parker Reno as we set up with a face-off in the RPI end. DeVito settles in for the Engineers. And that is won by the Engineers and sent immediately out of the zone. A good face-off win in their own end by the RPI penalty kill. Yale now setting up to move back down ice. It is Charlie Curdy now with the puck. He comes across the blue line, tries to leave it, but it's taken by Tierney. So he'll just shovel it up and out of the zone. But a bad break for RPI as that ends up hitting off of the scoreboard. And that'll bring the faceoff back into the RPI end. Big smile on Evan Tierney's face as he realized he probably should have shoveled that one a little bit lower. Didn't really want to get that kind of air time on the puck.
Yeah, he just seems to not know his own strength.
Hayden is going to get thrown from the circle, and it's going to be Hitchcock settling in against Jake Wood. Engineers, well, we'll call that one a win for Yale as they control Snively along the near boards. Gets it up to the point for Curdy. Now back to Snively. Now down low. The shot comes across. I don't think that ever got on net, but it ends up along the far boards. Now Snively back with it at the point on the near side. It gets down low for Hitchcock. Hitchcock to Snively, one of the top players on this Yale squad. Snively with it along the near boards, skates back up to the top of the point, and then he'll just drop that off for a teammate. That's now into the corner, back up to the point. D-to-D pass to Curdy. Curdy down for Snively. Snively skating, looking, 22 seconds remaining on the Yale power play. A fake shot by Curdy, now a pass over to Hitchcock. Hitchcock can't grab it, now thrown in front, but it's kicked off into the near corner. Picked up by Hitchcock, and it looks like Hayden was trying to get a piece on it. Now Hayden ends up going away with it with 8 seconds remaining on the power play. And diagonal shot by Hayden goes wide. I think Perry might have gotten a piece of that. Swing and a miss by Wood. He can't clear it, but the power play ends. Yale still with it down low in the RPI end. Snively back to the near side. Tries to dump it around, but there's nobody home on his squad. It's picked up by Prapavesis. Prapavesis tries to avoid a hit by Ismirlian. And Tierney comes away with it. Now he's going to just play it off the boards rather than put it high into the air. That gives RPI the opportunity to get an even strength line back out onto the ice. Shot by Yale coming into the zone and saved by Perry. He'll just stick it aside into the far corner. Yale with it now on the blue line. Pass into the corner for no one in particular is picked up by Evan Tierney. He'll drop it back for Will Riley. Riley D-to-D pass to Wilson takes it out of the zone. 16:35 remaining in the first period. No score between RPI and Yale. A big shot by Evan Tierney is gloved down by Patrick Spano for the whistle. RPI with their first shot on goal of the evening.
RPI is going to have to do a nice job in their own defensive zone, as Yale's passing is just on point so far on their power play and at even strength. They go tape to tape almost every time.
RPI certainly had their issues last night, especially in their own zone with the passing element of their game. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Curdy is back for it. They'll pull it out of their zone and they'll send it down. That was intended for Will Dorsey, who's making his collegiate debut here at the Fieldhouse tonight. Picked up by Foley at the blue line. He'll send it down into the zone. It's picked up by Reno, and he's unable to grab it. Now Dorsey takes a shot. I'm not sure that ever got on, but it's back to Foley at the point. Foley now on the near side, the top of the faceoff circle, takes a shot, and that's saved into the corner by Perry. And the Bulldogs trying to dig it out, and it's going to be Reno who comes away with it. He can't clear the zone, though. But we're going to have a whistle now and a hand pass called against the Bulldogs. So with 15:52 remaining in the first period and no score between RPI and Yale, the faceoff coming outside the zone.
Pretty even matchup so far. While the majority of play has been in the Yale offensive zone, Rensselaer hasn't looked like they've been outskated so far. It's just a matter of getting into the offensive zone and setting up.
Bradley Bell gets face-off for the Engineers, and that face-off won by freshman Evan Smith for the Yale Bulldogs. That's dumped in by Sweezy and picked up by Will Riley. Okay, still unable to clear the zone. Orval across for Prapavesis. Prapavesis looking for Bell with a pass. I'm going to say that Bell touched it into the zone, so no icing on the Engineers. And Bulldogs are going to grab it. Into the neutral zone they go. DeChara sends it into his attacking zone. And the puck comes around. Sweezy comes up trying to pin it in. And now the battle is along the near boards. And as Jesper Orval comes away with the loose puck, he brings it back into the neutral zone. 15:12 remaining in the first period. No score between RPI and Yale as the Bulldogs take over near their own blue line. Is up for John Hayden on the far boards. Hayhurst tries to do something with it, but he has it taken off his stick and ends up going behind the RPI cage. Wilson now tries to get out of the zone, kept in by Larkin. Larkin sends it deep, and Reno is back now for RPI. He's battling with John Hayden in the far corner. Puck squirts free for Jared Wilson behind his own cage. Wood will just flip it out of the zone. Larkin gloves it down and sends it right back in. Perry goes behind his net to stop it. To be careful, had a couple of forecheckers up there for the Bulldogs. RPI able to clear the zone. Wilson now, cross-ice pass, looking up for it was Lou Manny who will just shovel it into the zone as RPI changes D-men behind the play. Puck's picked up by Yale. It's up for Ted Hart. Hart brings it into the zone. Has Manley, who's a little bit out of place. A backhanded shot is just kind of pushed aside by Chase Perry. Now it's back up to the point for Yale. And another shot. That was actually a kind of a pass to the side of the cage that went a little bit errant. RPI still trying to just move the puck back, but the Yale D doing a great job of holding the zone. Manley's just going to fling it. It's held in again there by Matt Foley at the point. Foley again tries to keep it in after DeVito just kind of lofts one and that ends up out of the zone. Hayhurst now with some room to move at center ice. Gets across, takes a shot, goes just wide. Looks like Spano was kind of handcuffed there, but the puck ended up going just wide of the cage. Now back to the neutral zone as Riley flicks it in. He's back for Hayhurst, now back to Will Riley in the RPI end. Pass across for Prapavesis up the near side. He'll send it into the zone. Liljegren is trying to get that away from Robbie DeMontis. He's taken now by the Engineers. Up to the point for Prapavesis. A D-to-D pass across for Will Riley. Riley sends that one in. Looks like it was blocked in front. Might have hit Liljegren in the back. He's still down behind the Yale net. And now it'll come out. That's going all the way down the ice, and the call is icing against the Yale Bulldogs. Officials for tonight's contest, Brad LeBlanc and Cameron Lynch are the referees. Michael Emanation and Dimitri Antipin, your linesmen.
Yeah, the Engineers seem to be doing a little dump and chase methods to start the game, and it's working as they were able to get the puck in the offensive zone, get their cycle going, get a couple shots on net, and then force the Bulldogs to draw an icing.
Tyrannese wins that face-off for RPI. He has it dropped for him from Melanson in the near corner. Now back to Melanson, who brings it behind the cage. Turns back to his backhand, turns around again. Over for Bourbonnais along the far boards. Bourbonnais near the Zamboni doors now. As you get it for Tyrannese. Tyrannese gets held up a little bit, just enough to get the puck all the way out of the zone. Reno back for it now. Reno across for Wilson. Bourbonnais pops that into the zone, but Tyrannese was just a stride offsides. 12:38 remaining in the first period. Still no score between RPI and Yale. Officially, shots on goal. They're reading 6-1 in favor of the Bulldogs so far. Yale with the only power play opportunity so far in the game. They were unable to score on the top penalty kill unit in the country right now, which belongs to the RPI Engineers.
Officials having a discussion. Maybe it looked like one of the Yale players may have touched the puck as it went out of play.
So that'll bring the face-off back into the Yale zone. Tyrannese settles in against freshman Evan Smith. Two Smith brothers, Evan and Mitchell from Stouffville, Ontario, actually play together on the same line. Both freshmen this year in New Haven. Yale wins the face-off. And it's up along the near board for DeChara. There's a cross-ice pass. It goes behind the net. It's picked up by Mitchell Smith. Into the slot. Evan Smith now near the point takes a shot that goes way up into the netting. I think that might have been touched in front, but it won't matter as the face-off, regardless, will stay in the RPI end.
Looks like we're going to get a line change here for the Engineers as they're going to bring out their fourth line.
RPI's fourth line tonight consisting of Jake Morello from Slingerlands, New York, Bradley Bell, the junior out of Sudbury, Ontario, who's been getting a little bit of time playing forward here this evening, and Jesper Orvald, the sophomore out of Hallstatt, Sweden. As the faceoff is won by Yale, brought into the slot, but some good D keeps them from getting a shot off. Now a opportunity up at the point. Cycle low for DeChara along the far boards. Now Yale and RPI battling for it in the corner. It's Bradley Bell who comes away with it. He backhands it behind the net for Tommy Grant. Grant tries to get it out. Takes a weird bounce to Evan Smith. Now an opportunity in the slot. No shot coming. Morello, a great job of keeping that shot from ever taking place. Chase Perry's just going to come out of his net and swing it into the near corner. Yale still doing a wonderful job keeping it in at the point as Sweezy is able to shoot that one back into the zone. Both teams battling for it along the far boards now. There's three Engineers against two Bulldogs battling for the puck along the far boards. Now a breakout opportunity for RPI. Here comes Morello across the blue line on the near side. He takes a wide angle shot that's easily stick aside by Spano up to the far boards. Yale's just going to swing that one way out, going all the way down the ice, but icing quickly waved off by the officials. Prapavesis a headman pass for Wood. Wood gets it across ice for DeVito. DeVito now back to Wood. Wood can't keep it on his stick. It bounces out and out of the zone. And Prapavesis is back to recover. DeVito will shovel that into the zone as RPI changes behind the play. Nanny can't control it, and now it is up for Joe Snively, who can't control his pass. And now it's Reno with it behind his own net. Snively forechecking. And Reno's able to get it away. It's into the neutral zone and taken by Chandler Lindstrand. Larkin trying to move the puck. He whiffs on his first opportunity, but gets it up towards the blue line. Can't connect with a teammate, and it's picked up by Wood instead, who sends it out of the zone. John Hayden, the Blackhawks draft selection and senior on this Yale team. Can't control. Ends up back in the neutral zone for RPI. DeVito doing battle for the puck near his own bench. John Hayden comes away with it and sends a cross-ice pass for Snively. Snively up to Ismerlian. His top line for the Bulldogs is Ismerlian sent down to the ice. More battling going on in the far corner. And now we're going to see a penalty coming up. Looks like it's going to be on RPI once again.
Yeah, the NCAA having no wiggle room here tonight, as the officials are told to be very strict on their calls.
And this is another one of those obstruction type penalties that has been called this year. Jared Wilson, the guilty man for RPI, holding the stick is the call. So with 10:03 remaining in the first period, Yale going back on the power play. They are 0 for 1 so far this evening.
Wilson, one of the better defensemen for the Engineers, so it'll be interesting to see if Yale can score on this ensuing power play.
Wilson, a key part of both sides of RPI's special teams. Engineers win the faceoff and send it right out of the zone. It's a second straight power play. They've won the opening faceoff. That's always important when you're killing penalties. Yale now bringing out into the neutral zone. Lindstrand's going to bring it across the blue line himself. He's going to try and carry it all the way down, but he has it poked off his stick. And that is Mitchell Smith, who can't keep it in at the blue line, so Yale forced to retreat. Minute 37 remaining on the penalty to Wilson. Evan Smith tries to just power past the RPI defense, but they're not having any of it, and that gets sent all the way back down the ice. Spano just drops that off for his teammates to regroup. Coming up across the ice now is Curdy. He was ascended into the zone, but he was not across the red line when he did that, so it is an icing call against Yale. And if there's one thing you don't want to do when you're on the power play, it's ice the puck.
Yeah, the Engineer penalty killers are just being really feisty. They're small, quick guys, and they're not even letting the defenseman get past the red line.
1:18 remaining on the penalty to Jared Wilson. Melanson steps in. RPI wins the faceoff in the attacking zone. Riley's just going to send that one back down as Melanson looks for it, but decides that discretion is the better part of valor. He's on his way back, and Yale now moving the puck through the neutral zone. And he's dropped off on the far side for Hitchcock. Hitchcock in the corner around for Snively. Snively on the near boards once again. Back up for Curdy. Now Snively again near the blue line on the near boards. That's sent down low for Hitchcock. Pass by Hitchcock was intercepted at first by RPI, but then a shot by Hayden is saved by Chase Perry.
Yeah, very dangerous area right in front of the slot, right in front of Chase Perry. He was able to keep his eye on it, and a nice save there.
That was an initial interception by Nanny, but he wasn't able to keep control of it. So a quick shot by Yale, and Perry needed to be on his toes to keep that one out of the net. 48 seconds remaining on the Yale power play. Face-off coming up to the left of Chase Perry.
Nice job by the Engineer penalty killers, not letting anyone in front of Chase Perry to get the rebounds.
Call that a win for the Engineers, although it's the immediate result is a battle along the near boards. Comes free to Curdy. Curdy takes a shot that's blocked in front by DeVito. Nice move by him. Now the puck squirts just to the right of the post. It's RPI who picks it up. Here comes Hayhurst, 2-on-2. Hayhurst along the near boards, circles around the net, looking up. Still can't find anyone, so he just brings it back out of the zone. RPI is just going to come backwards with it. And Prapavessis kind of softly sends it towards the Yale end. DeVito's trying to push it forward, but it's taken by Hitchcock instead. He's across the RPI blue line. Reno behind his own net with 6 seconds remaining on the Yale power play. Reno looking to tie up the Bulldogs over in the corner. Now the puck is behind the RPI net. As RPI returns to full strength, a shot from the point is missed by Lindstrand. He might have broken the stick on that one. Actually, he still got it. Now a turnover, give it to Snively. A no-look pass across, and the shot is saved by Perry. That was Hart with the tight angle shot. Now it's back up to the point for Larkin. Larkin going low. That's intercepted by Reno, and he drops it for Grant. Now Bourbonnais just tries to throw it out of the zone. Can't. Tierney's just the next to it. He does get it out of the zone. Glances off of Wood's stick and into the Zamboni doors as Wood lays a solid hip check against Hart in the corner. Sorry, that was Lindstrand over in the corner. Now up for the Bulldogs, that is Ismerlian, who loses the handle of it. Now a quick shot saved by Perry, and the rebound came loose to Hart, but he couldn't grab it. And now it's RPI behind their own cage looking to break out once again. Liljegren across the blue line. He has Hayhurst down along the near boards, but he Liljegren will just send it in. That is now Liljegren near the Zamboni doors. He loses the handle, and is Merlian to try to shovel it out. Kept in along the far boards by Will Riley. Now the puck along the near boards. Yale will just send that one right out of the zone, all the way down the ice. This is going to be icing on the Bulldogs.
2 big hits for Jake Wood after the penalty kill. He came in after when Jared Wilson came to the bench, and that's what you like to see, a nice momentum shift. A big hit along the boards on the left side in the defensive zone, and then came charging down on the forecheck and almost knocked the Yale defenseman out of the arena through the Zamboni doors.
6:42 left in the first period. Still no score between RPI and Yale as the Engineers win the faceoff in the attacking zone. Shoveled down by Orval. We've certainly seen an awful lot more of the fourth line tonight than we did last night against Brown. Fourth line tonight, Morello, Bell, and Orval. Wilson tries to keep that one in just by sending it down, but it's going to be whistled offsides by Dimitri Antipin.
6:27 here left in the first. It's still 0-0. Shots on goal in favor of the Yale Bulldogs 8, Rensselaer Polytech Engineers 1.
Not too surprising, as the Bulldogs have been on 2 power plays here in the first period. That was made up for the lion's share of those shots, I'm certain. RPI with just the 1 shot, which came a lot earlier in this period. Bourbonnais tries to send it in from the red line. He'll get it back to him. Now along the near boards, he brings it in himself into the corner. Looking to cycle it. He takes a hip check. He has it come right back to him as Tierney sends it right back. Wilson now along the near boards to take a shot. That's blocked by Dorsey into the far corner. Yale's just going to shovel that one out. That one's heading all the way down ice. Will that have the legs for icing? It does, with 5:55 remaining in the first period. Still no score here at Houston Fieldhouse between RPI and Yale.
Engineers starting to get some pressure on Spano. Not officially able to record a shot due to a lot of sticks in front of the net, but you just have to figure out one of them is eventually going to deflect in.
Bourbonnais settles in against Robbie DeMontis, the freshman of Kleinburg, Ontario. And that comes back RPI's way, but it splits the D and heads down ice as Yale's going to take a change after a couple of icing calls. Passes to Melanson. He's looking for Tierney, who can't control the pass. Now a good shovel shot by Evan Smith goes into the corner. A bad turnover by the Engineers, giving Yale a free opportunity in the attacking zone. Larkin, a D-to-D pass for Chandler Lindstrand, puts that one on net. That's blocked into the corner by Perry. The stick ends up way up into the netting. It was a stick that belonged to a Yale Bulldog. As that comes across, Tierney is just going to dump it into the zone after he gains the blue line. Melanson gives chase, but RPI changing behind the plate. DeChara is the one that comes away with it for Yale. Bulldogs now moving along the far boards. Larkin is just going to try and tip that one deeper into the zone. Now Snively in the corner. He's going to get sent all the way back down in by Lindstrand as Yale completes its change. That comes back out along the Yale bench. I'd say that wasn't touched by anyone. An icing call against the Engineers.
Yeah, Lou Nanny trying to chase down the puck on that last icing call, but just did not have enough, not have enough ice left.
4:51 remaining here in the first period. A lot of the action's been down on the RPI end, but the Engineers have certainly had their opportunities offensively, but just the 1 shot still for them in this contest. Face-off won by the Engineers. Manley along the far boards. Puts it up for Wood. Wood across the red line. He'll just dump it in. And he ends up chasing it down. Now DeVito in the corner takes a quick turnaround shot that goes wide of the net. It's taken to the point by Wilson. That's blocked by Hayden pretty low, so he's out of the zone. Now Wilson just sends it in and is tipped all the way down ice by DeVito. Yale now looking to break out quickly. Here come the Bulldogs across the RPI blue line into the zone. Good move by Parker Reno to take his man down. That was Hitchcock. And Liljegren along the far boards tries a cross ice pass for Reno. He ends up picking it up off the board. Now Reno bringing it deep into the zone. Spins around looking for someone. Kind of a weak shot by Liljegren is just easily saved over into the corner by Spano. Now a clearance attempt is blocked by Liljegren and still ends up just out of the zone. So RPI needs to touch up, and Snively takes advantage to move the puck forward. RPI back on it now. Polino across the blue line. He doesn't have anyone with him. He has a trailer now coming. He's just going to take a shot that's easily sticked down by Spano. Now Yale coming the other way with it. They are 2-on-2. into the zone. Pass across, looking for Ted Hart, but the bad pass goes all the way into the near boards, and Liljegren is going to bring it out for RPI. 3:25 remaining in the first period. Still no score between RPI and Yale, but 2 more shots now for the Engineers. It's 8-3 in shots. The bouncing puck comes in on Perry. He's just going to block that down, covers up for the whistle. So he wanted to try and get rid of that, keep the play going, but the quick whistle by the officials. Bring the face-off to his. They're going to hold it just to his right in the RPI zone.
Yeah, the Engineers starting to get a little momentum into the offensive zone, getting a couple quick shots off.
Tierney's facing off against Evan Smith. And the face-off one, we'll call that a Yale win as it stays in the zone. Smith now along the far boards, looks for his brother Mitchell. They pick it up, and now Melanson across the blue line into the neutral zone. He lifts it up, looking for Bourbonnais heading into the zone. Bourbonnais really can't control it, but ends up in the far corner of the Yale end. There's a pass looking for Tierney. He's picked up instead by Evan Smith. And now Yale's going to move it out of the zone. That's a high puck that's gloved down by Reno. Now the puck sent into the RPI end. Perry goes behind to stop it there. And it's going to be picked up by the Bulldogs. Just keep it in the zone. RPI trying to squeeze it out at the point. Now the pass coming into the top of the slot for Mitchell Smith, but he can't control that pass either. A little bit more sloppy passing than we've seen from Yale earlier in this period as we approach the waning moments of the first period with 2:18 remaining. Still no score here at Houston Fieldhouse. Yale still with the puck. A quick shot from along the boards by Luke Stevens, the freshman out of Duxbury, Mass. Tight angle shot that really was no problem for Chase Perry to just glove down.
Yeah, Chase Perry's played great so far in the game. I'd have to say the difference in this period so far has to be the play of the defensemen by the Yale Bulldogs. They've been keeping all the clearing attempts by the Engineers in the offensive zone. It's been the difference in why they have 7 more shots on goal than the Engineers.
Holding the zone and keeping possession certainly helps your momentum on offense, and that's been a big part of what Yale's D-Corps has done here in the first period as the face-off is won by Yale. They're going to try to send it into the slot. It's held in by Matt Foley. He sends it across a pass for Charlie Curdy that gets blocked by Jake Wood up into the stands. And so the face-off coming up now to the right of Chase Perry.
Another big aspect of the Yale forwards that they've had so far is a lot of back checking that has prevented the Engineers from setting up very much in the offensive zone.
I have Hitchcock and Wood for this face-off with 121 seconds remaining in the first period. Hitchcock is tossed in favor of John Hayden. Wood now barking commands. Won by Yale. Quick shot by Snively is saved. And now Snively back with at the top of the slot. He loses the handle on it. But a penalty coming up now as Yale tried to keep the puck in the zone. Wood was tripped up. He draws another penalty. He takes some penalties. He draws plenty of them too. And Joe Snively is going to head off for the Bulldogs. That will bring up RPI's first power play of the contest with 1:54 remaining in the first period. RPI's power play not terribly strong, 12.2%. That is 47th in the nation. As we mentioned, Yale has a penalty kill bested only by the Engineers, 93.8%. As RPI wins the face-off in the attacking zone. Bourbonnais with it. Drops it for Liljegren in the near corner. Liljegren to the far boards. That's a shot across the crease that Bourbonnais can't control. Riley's going to send it back down in. It is Hayhurst now along the far boards. He leaves it for Liljegren. Liljegren up to the point for Prapavesis. Prapavesis fakes a shot. Comes back to the top of the slot. Now a shot by Hayhurst. That's a save. Now another shot in by Hayhurst is saved. And it's picked up by Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais along the far board. Cross ice pass to Riley. Riley whips a shot that goes off the side of the cage. Liljegren is just going to send that along the far boards for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais drops it to the point for Prapavesis. Up at the far boards. Now across for Riley who keeps it in. His pass to Liljegren, I'm sorry, that was Hayhurst, is a bit errant. It goes off of Hayhurst's stick and up into the netting for a whistle with 1:12 remaining on the RPI power play.
0-0 here with 1:06 left in the first period. Jake Wood having a quietly strong defensive game after blocking 2 shots on that last period, on that last sequence in the offensive zone for the Bulldogs. He also drew a penalty and allowed the Engineers to set up shop.
Okay, second power play unit is out there now. DeVito comes in for the face-off against Evan Smith. And RPI again wins the face-off on the power play. That's very key. It's a possession for RPI. As the puck goes into the corner, they can't keep control and ends up out of the zone. RPI will have to reset on their own end. Jared Wilson, quarterback in this second power play unit. Brings it into the neutral zone. Tierney has a fall off of his stick, so RPI has to wheel back around. Now it's taken off his stick. An opportunity for Yale in all alone, and it's put to the just to the wide of the cage by Evan Smith. He was on his backhand. Decent defensive effort by the Engineers to make up for a bad turnover close to their own blue line. RPI now back with it in the Yale end. Tierney along the far boards, gets up to Wilson at the point. Wilson along the blue line, kind of settles near the near boards. Cross ice pass to Melanson, and now Manny just tries to flick that pass. Ends up in the stands on the near side. So with 16 seconds remaining on the power play, 10.4 left in the period. Face-off coming up in the RPI end.
Yeah, good movement so far by the Engineers on the power play. Just haven't been able to get those shots in.
Looks like they're going to take a look at something. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be replaying here.
They may have thought there was an intentional delay of game, but it was a deflection. So
yeah, it was deflected off of Manny's stick, so that can't possibly be what they're looking for. There was nothing that was really close to being a goal. The shot by Evan Smith, the shorthanded on his backhand, was not near the net. It ended up going just wide, so that can't be what they're looking at either. I didn't see anything that would resemble a goal for RPI either. So what they're looking at here is difficult to tell. I'm not sure if they're going to try and put more time back on the clock or what exactly they're trying to achieve.
Players seem confused as to what's going on. Having a little conference at
Cameron Lynch is talking to Yale coach Keith Elaine, fill him in on something. They've added 3 seconds back to the clock, so that must be what they were taking a look at. I guess the clock didn't stop as soon as it needed to on the puck out of play. So face-off now coming up with Bourbonnais. And that is still in skates. We'll see who comes away with it. And it is the Bulldogs who eventually come away with it. Hard to really say who won that power play, but Yale ends up winning in the end as they get it out of the zone with 2 seconds remaining, and that'll be it for the first period. 6 seconds left on the power play for RPI as some pushing and shoving erupts along the far boards. There's a hit after the whistle by the Bulldogs, which led to some additional truculence over on the far boards. So we'll see what comes of this. It was Prapavesis who was along those far boards, and just after the final whistle of the period, John Hayden taking down Prapavesis. We'll see if Hayden gets called for a hit after the whistle or some sort of hit from behind. But after the pushing and shoving that followed, there's a risk of the Engineers ending up with a penalty out of the whole thing as well.
Yeah, Mike Prapavesis looked like he grabbed hold of John Hayden's stick, and Hayden was having none of that, so he decided to just chuck him into the boards. And then Victor Lilligren, of course, standing up for his teammate, wasn't going to have none of that, and gave a nice cross-check to the neck of Hayden.
So the referees are trying to decide what they want to call here. It seems pretty obvious they're going to call something. Could see penalties to Prapavesis for holding. Could see a cross-check on Lilligren. See a hit from behind on Hayden. So could be almost anything at this point. We're just kind of waiting to see what the call will be. The referee still huddling as both teams leave the ice. The only players remaining are Captain John Hayden, who really is at the center of that whole thing, and Jimmy DeVito also waiting to see what occurs.
Good chance there's a lot of open ice to start the period, as we're no doubt going to have a couple skaters in the penalty box. A lot of extracurricular activities to end the period. Not that surprising for ECAC hockey. one of the toughest conferences in the country.
Lynch and DeVito are having words now. We're going to find out what's going on here before we break for the intermission, which still has yet to begin officially, as Hayden and DeVito have a short chat. They're also talking to head official Brad LeBlanc. We're still waiting to see exactly what is going to transpire here. Hayden now skating off. I guess he's aware of what the end result has been. It does appear that they're going to be, there's going to be something called. That's pretty apparent. There's going to be a penalty called here for the extracurriculars that took place at 20 minutes of the first period.
Yeah, the Red Army student section certainly had a good time watching that.
Well, referees have left the ice. We still haven't heard any official word on penalties. Certainly hasn't had anything pop up. So if we hear anything, we'll discuss it during the first intermission, which we will be catching up with momentarily. Your score after one period of play is RPI 0 and Yale 0. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
CAC action tonight. After one period in Hanover, New Hampshire, Colgate and Dartmouth tied at 0. After one in Alston, it's Harvard 2, Cornell 0. Also after one in Canton, Quinnipiac and St. Lawrence 0-0. In Potsdam, Clarkson and Princeton tied at 1. And after one period in Schenectady, it's Union 2, Brown 0.
Is going to have to go to work once again as Liljegren heads to the box right now. And what I'm liking so far from the Engineers in that first period was that they're not letting the size of the Bulldogs overpower them. Just because the Bulldogs have, on average, a much taller team, much heavier team than the Engineers, they're not letting that get to them, as Jake Wood's not afraid to hit somebody, Jimmy DeVito's not afraid to hit somebody, and of course, Liljegren, as he heads to the box for cross-checking, is definitely not afraid to hit somebody.
The Yale team that is good with fundamentals. They're big, they have speed. They've been able to connect on passes. That's made them dangerous in this game, but not yet dangerous enough to put one past RPI's Chase Perry. So 20 minutes are now up on the board. Shots on goal in this one, 11-4 in favor of Yale.
I think for the Engineers to break through, they're going to need to have their smaller skill players like Jake Hayhurst and Jimmy DeVito maybe sneak through the zone, get a clean entry, and get a quick shot off that'll sneak past Spano.
So we skate 4-on-4 for the next 6 seconds with Snively and Liljegren in the box. I'm sure that Yale is putting their top power play line out there, minus Snively, as he's one of the better power play men for the Bulldogs, and that power play is going to be getting underway momentarily. RPI skating from left to right across your radio dial here in the second period as we get set to begin. Tiernese is going to face off against Ryan Hitchcock, junior out of Manhasset, New York, down on Long Island. Face-off won by Yale. That bodes well for them as they are about to go on the power play right now. They will bring it out of their own zone. Walsh, cross-ice pass to Curdy. Curdy drops it back off for Snively. I should say Joe Snively, the sophomore. Brings it into the zone. Now back up for Curdy. Curdy along the blue line. Drops it back. Now it's back to Curdy at the point. Curdy to Hitchcock. Hitchcock down low. Snively to Hitchcock. Back to Snively along the far boards. Snively skates up to the top of the slot. Drops it back for Curdy. Curdy now skates into the slot over for Hitchcock. Hitchcock whips one that goes wide. And that's going to curl all the way around and out. So RPI will get an opportunity to change penalty killers with a minute 11 remaining on the penalty to Liljegren. Hitchcock drops off. Snively into the zone. Curls around for Hitchcock. Now to Walsh along the far boards, but that's out of the zone by Jake Wood, who will come off the ice in favor of Riley Bourbonnais. Now into the zone come the Bulldogs momentarily. Jimmy DeVito whips that back down. 46 seconds remaining on the penalty, but it's back up ice for Hayden. John Hayden falls down, gets back up. Prapavesis takes him off the puck. Look for Larkin. Larkin will send it back down into the zone for Evan Smith. Kept in at the far boards by the Bulldogs. Evan Smith now near the Zamboni door. On the far boards, back up for Lindstrand. Now Evan Smith sends it back in for his brother Mitchell. Mitchell on the far board, skates into the top of the slot. And a big blast, that's saved into the corner by Perry. And that is going to end up out of the zone as Mitchell Smith could not keep it in. And give RPI the opportunity to change penalty killers with 6 seconds remaining on the Lisbon penalty. That's going to be sent all the way down the ice by Tommy Grant. That'll be it for the Yale power play. They are 0-4-3 on the man advantage.
Engineers taking advantage of the slick ice to start the second period, sending every puck down on a clearing a chance that they could.
RPI now trying to move back down ice with it. It's going to be a race for the puck. Hayhurst puts a shoulder up into Chandler Lindstrand. That helps Reno keep the puck in along the near boards. Now Hayhurst going to be first to the puck again, and a quick shot that just ends up along the far boards. Now Yale with some space to maneuver. This is DeChara on the near boards. He whips one that goes across the front of the crease. And he's taken by Melancel on the far boards. Instead taken by Yale. Now coming in and a save by Perry. The backhanded opportunity by Ismerlian is denied by the RPI sophomore. Puck goes all the way down the ice, taken by Matt Foley, the freshman out of Longmeadow, Mass. Yale moving through the zone. Ted Hart into the slot, loses control of it, and now some room to maneuver for RPI. Bradley Bell will just glide that one into the zone. Foley's going to try and backhand that one along the near boards. Picked up by a teammate. Now Yale moving down ice. Doherty along the near boards, I should say. And a big hit by RPI keeps Yale off the puck. That was a good hit by Bell. Prapavesis can't control behind his own net, and it's taken by Doherty. Doherty up for Sweezy, who takes a shot that goes over the cage. Ted Hart now behind the RPI net. Doherty calls for it. He gets it along the near boards, but can't control. It's going to be taken out by Jesper Orville.
Bradley Bell in the fourth line doing a nice job.
And it's RPI moving out of the zone. It's intercepted in the neutral zone. That was Sweezy, but bringing it back in, he is just offsides.
Nice job by the Rensselaer fourth line. Bradley Bell getting a nice hit and hit there on the Bulldogs and keeping the puck down in the offensive zone for a forward check.
Face off just outside the RPI end. It looked like Tierney was going to take it, but he's been hauled off the ice. The RPI second line now out for this one. DeVito wins the face-off. He'll go forward with it. He's 1-on-4 basically along the far boards. Kind of waits. Gets it back to the D line for Reno. Reno's just going to drop it into the corner. And DeVito tries to fetch behind the Yale cage, but it's taken along the far boards by Foley. Now bringing it into the zone is John Hayden along the near boards. And he's just pestered by Reno. Now DeVito keeps a centering pass from going anywhere. Brought back to the point. Shot is blocked by Wood. He has a leg on Foley. He's 1-on-1 now, bringing it into the zone. That's going to be just blockered aside by Spano. Didn't get much on that. And then a big hit to follow up by Nanny. A shot by Tierney goes wide. And now Yale bringing it out of the zone. They're going to put it into their own bench with 15:31 remaining in the second period. No score between RPI and Yale.
Another block point shot there by Jake Wood. He seems to be in the right position on every single one of those.
You jump on those block point shots and you can have an odd man rush with some ease. Wasn't quite able to get a breakaway there, but certainly a decent scoring opportunity for the RPI senior out of Georgetown, Ontario. So the face-off now coming up just outside of the Yale zone, won by Evan Tierney. Back to the D. Riley, pass to Prapavesis, now up for Bourbonnais, who loses the handle on it and is taken by Sweezy. Yale can't clear the zone, turned over, almost taken by Bourbonnais. Now a turnover to Tierney, who takes a shot, goes just wide in the cage. Prapavesis throws it down to keep it in. Now Bourbonnais, looked like he was looking up for Melanson, but he can't control and is back to center ice. Bourbonnais bringing it back into the zone, has Tierney with him into the slot. Drops it back for Prapavesis. Prapavesis tries to move, but it's intercepted by DeChara, who will get that out of the zone. Here come the Bulldogs now. Evan Smith across the blue line. Drops for DeChara. DeChara along the near boards. Takes a shot that's blocked into the far boards. Now a quick shot by Larkin. Big blast. That hit a lot of nothing. Back at the point, Lindstrand keeps it in for the Bulldogs. Centering pass is broken up by Riley, and now here come the Engineers trying to go the other way. Riley can't keep a handle on it. Puck bounces a bit. RPI not quite offside. I don't think the puck ever left the zone. Now it's out of the zone. Polino tries to get around his man. He does. He's going down ice with Tyranny's 2-on-2. A near angle shot by Polino is saved by Spano. And now the Engineers keeping it in. Liljegren tries a toe drag. Shoots it from along the goal line. That's saved. Grant tries a shot that's blocked by Stevens. Now RPI again with the puck in their own zone. Polino on the near boards. Tries to feed it back, but Tyranny's is going off, so he keeps it. Into the corner he goes. Liljegren doing battle with Robbie DeMontis. It's Yale who comes away with the puck. Stevens up ice. His pass is intercepted. RPI can't move through the neutral zone, and now Yale spins around. That's Dorsey. And Manley will take it and settle down in his own end. D-to-D pass behind his own cage to Manley with 13:30 remaining in the second period. No score between RPI and Yale. Wilson tries to move the puck after an RPI change. Gets it across the red line. Morello's just going to send that one all the way down in. Excuse me, that was Jesper Orval. Yale takes behind their own net into the neutral zone. Doherty feeds forward from along the red line. First to the puck is Merlian. Now the puck along the far side of the RPI end. Gets sent back down behind the RPI net. And now along the near boards, it's Reno who's just going to tap that out of the zone. And Bell now with it along the RPI bench. He sends it down, but it's taken by Curdy before it gets too far. Pass across the logo is shortly intercepted by Orval, but now Yale with it. And that's just going to get sent down in by Doherty. Okay, looking to move. Orval back pass for DeVito. DeVito brings it into the zone. He's all alone. RPI changing behind him. He just drags it in. He loses the handle of it on it, but goes into the far corner to grab it. Foley now puts Jake Wood down on the ice as Yale goes the other way with it now through the neutral zone. Hitchcock has it go off of DeVito's skate, and Wood is just going to send it in deeper as he takes another hit, this time from Walsh. Puck along the far boards. Picked up by Prapavesis. And is battling with it with a couple of Bulldogs. Comes free behind the Yale cage. And it is going to be Nanny now. Nanny drops it back to DeVito for DeVito. DeVito on the backhand, can't control. And it's picked up by Ryan Hitchcock. Hitchcock is just going to try and shovel that one out. Takes better of it, turns around and sends it around to the near boards. Now Snively is able to get that one out to his captain, John Hayden. Hayden across the blue line. Now a quick shot, and that goes off with Prapavesis. Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy, and a shot by Lindstrand from just the bottom of the face-off circle. I don't think that got through. DeVito ends up with it. He's just going to take it out of the zone, and a whistle now is, not sure what this whistle is. So the face-off's going to come back into the RPI end.
Aggressive offensive zone play here by the Rensselaer defenseman. You saw on the last two shifts, Mike Prapavesis is not afraid to pinch into the zone along the boards and keep the offensive cycle going for the Engineers, allowing them to get a couple extra shots off.
Evan Smith settles in for Yale. He will face off against, well, he won't be facing off against Evan Tierney. He's out of the, tossed out of the circle. So Drew Melanson now settles in. Face off won by Yale. Back to the point. Larkin fakes a shot, moves over to the far boards. He gets it over for DeChara now. DeChara takes a shot that's blocked by Grant. Now the puck ends up on a Yale stick. There it goes. DeChara is back on DeChara's stick. And it goes right in on Perry, who covers for the whistle.
Nice job by Perry to cover up on the whistle there, not letting Smith get in, Evan Smith get in on there and whack at the rebound.
His follow-ups are crucial. The initial shot doesn't have too much of anything, but if you can't keep hold of it, there's always going to be a trailer when it comes to Yale.
Excuse me, that was Mitchell Smith.
The face-off coming up to the left of Perry. It's battled for. We'll call that a Yale win. As the shot by the Bulldogs was off the side of the cage. That was Evan Smith. Now the puck back up at the blue line, kept in by DeChara momentarily. He and Lidstrand can't keep it in. Now Evan Smith coming back into the zone. He'll try a backhanded shot. It goes off the side of the cage. Picked up by Mitchell Smith now along the near board. Now a shot by Chara. That hit the side of the post.
Bulldogs are buzzing right now.
Now the Engineers in the cage. Now point blank shot by Evan Smith, denied by Perry. He gets it over onto the far boards, and RPI gets it out of danger. That was easily the best shot of either team of breaking the deadlock so far in this one, as DeChara gets stoned at point blank range. Now here comes RPI with Hayhurst. Hayhurst sends it in on Spano, and he has to be strong in order to keep this one a scoreless tie.
Nice play there by Hayhurst. Stick handling right into the slot again. A nice shot off. Could have gone left side, could have gone far side with it, but just tried to squeeze the angle.
Looked like Hayhurst had plenty of space for sure, but it looked like he might have been trying to beat Spano 5-hole. And the minder out of Post St. Luke, Quebec, was able to get himself down and that one into his chest to keep this one scoreless with 10:35 remaining in the second period. Now a shot from the point. Look at that, just kind of floated in by Prapavesis, goes into the glove of Spano.
Good decision there by Prapavesis, as no one really seemed to know that the shot went off. It was just so slow moving that Spano was able to catch it at the last second.
It is Bourbonnais and is Merlin in the face-off circle. One backwards. Tyrannese is battling with Sweezy for it. And Yale's going to get it out of the zone, but can't find a connection on a pass. That's going to go all the way down ice. But first down there is going to be the Bulldogs. That was a nice hustle by Ted Hart to make sure that it was not icing. Now behind the cage is Mike Doherty, and his pass goes through the crease into the near boards, where it's taken by Melanson. Melanson goes down ice with it. He'll drop it, go chase it himself. Melanson looking into the slot, all alone, but a save by Spano. Now another shot by Reno blocked in front. Three Engineers all alone there. Bad defense by Yale gives RPI a golden opportunity, but denied twice. Once by Spano and another time by the Yale defense. Now RPI heading back with it into the Yale end. It's Bell getting behind the defense, but Spano's just going to come out of his crease and stick that away. Heads up play by the Yale senior. It's taken by RPI behind the Yale net. Reno comes up to play it, but can't keep hold of it. Now he's got to go after his man. That is Luke Stevens coming down ice with it. He takes a shot directly into the glove of Chase Perry. Stevens goes flying, and this game remains tied at 0.
Great job by Chase Perry, not giving up any rebounds on that shot, as there were two Yale forwards flying in to get the rebound. Luke Stevens in particular.
Reno is probably going to be fortunate if he's not taking a penalty here, which isn't a terrible penalty to take if it is one, because he got kind of caught out. I don't fault him for going after Stevens from behind, basically, because he was trying to pinch down to try and make something happen offensively. But it doesn't look like anything's being called, so the face-off will remain in the RPI end, but we're staying at 5-on-5. Personally, I think it was a pretty decent return by Parker Reno to make sure that Stevens was a little bit uncomfortable with that shot.
Parker Reno just keeping them out of the crease.
Hitchcock is going to get tossed out of the circle, so DeVito will now face off against John Hayden. Hayden is going to take it forward himself, call it a win for him. He takes it into the Zamboni doors and tries to curl himself around DeVito. A good move by Prapavesis is able to angle Snively off the puck. Nanny, the nice little spin move to try to drop it for DeVito, but he can't connect. Now Yale coming in 2-on-2. Snively with some space. That goes off the knob of the stick from Perry. Now Yale with it along the far boards, and another shot just blocked to the side by Perry. As the teams do battle near the Zamboni door, Yale comes away with another quick shot from near the point. Perry doesn't know where it is. It's behind him. And now it's taken by Tommy Grant, who gets the puck out of danger. Looks like Perry made the initial save, but wasn't quite sure where the puck was. And fortunately for him, it just ended up squirting to his left. That went through his 5-hole, ended up sitting behind him on the goal line. And a good heads-up play by Tommy Grant to just take it himself behind the RPI cage.
Yeah, Tommy Grant with his eyes on the puck the whole time, took it and made sure it got out of the zone quickly.
22-8 is the shot differential now in favor of the Yale Bulldogs with 8:37 remaining in the second period. Yale wins the faceoff at center ice. Coming back down ice with a big rebound given up by Perry on a blast by DeChara. Yale keeping it in the zone, but only momentarily, as Wilson grabs it and sends it out. And it's picked up by Charlie Curdy. Pass across for DeChara, up for Evan Smith, drops for his brother Mitchell. And a shot from the point, that breaks the stick of Billy Sweezy. That gives RPI an opportunity, 3-on-2, coming the other way. Liljegren, and the whistle is offsides, I believe. Maybe it looks like Jared Wilson was a little bit eager to get into the zone there.
Yeah, the Engineer fans here looking for an obstruction penalty after a broken stick there. They thought there should have been a penalty call.
And if it had been, it would have been legitimate, and it would have been a good call by Sweezy. When you break your stick on a shot from the point, if you're giving the puck up, suddenly you're kind of half of a defender there, and anything you can do to obstruct the puck being moved was probably a good thing. So that's going to go way up into the netting for a whistle. 7:57 remaining in the second period. No score between RPI and Yale.
Engineers still looking for that breakout opportunity, as they've had several chances at the net and at Spano, but he's held tough the whole time.
The officials I think they're trying to figure out where they want to have this face-off, as the puck went out of the zone on a kind of a shoot-in by Yale from the neutral zone. So we'll have a Sunrise face-off now. Is Merlian against Bourbonnais. Face-off won by the Bulldogs, who won the lion's share of the face-offs in the first period as well. Taken by RPI in their own end. Bourbonnais. Back for Will Riley. Will Riley is going to send that one off the Zamboni door. Always a dangerous proposition. Kept in at the point by Yale. That shot goes wide. It's behind the net for his Merlian. He's battling with Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais moves him off the puck, and now Prapavesas up for Tierney, who drops it for Melanson. Melanson over for Riley, who's moving up like a forward. Gets it, tries to get it to back to Melanson. Puck ends up in the near corner, the Yale end. Now it is Sweezy behind his own net. He will send it off the boards and up for Merlian. Can't connect on that pass, and it's taken by Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais across from Melanson. Melanson to the top face-off circle. Now over to Manley. Manley taking a shot, save. Another shot by Manley. That was blocked by, looks like DeMontis, who moved forward with it after it. So two quick shots in succession by Manley. They don't get anywhere near the net. Now a cross ice pass through the crease. Can't connect with Jake Morello. Yale trying to move the puck through the neutral zone. Bradley Bell trying to do his best to get in the way. He's going to head down behind the RPI net. Perry's going to get behind there and kind of backhand it over towards the far end, where there were a couple of Bulldogs waiting up. Really a strong move by the RPI netminder. Yale takes control. The puck at the top of the point. That is Foley, sends it wide. And it is taken along the near boards by Orval, who bring it across the logo, across the blue line. And a whistle.
Bradley Bell just offsides.
I would have to see that again. I'm not entirely certain. And the whistle looked like it was coming from the far official. The face-off is coming up just outside the neutral zone, or just outside the Yale zone, so we'll call that offsides on the Engineers. DeVito and Hitchcock settle in. One back to Walsh by the Bulldogs. They'll try to move forward with it. Intercepted at the blue line by Nanny. Nanny into the Yale end. Has it for Wood behind the cage. Reno at the top of the face-off circle. Can't control it, has to go back to get it. Snively tries to take it away from him. And looks like it's just kept in by Wilson, who sends it into the zone. DeVito in the near corner. He's battling for it with, looks like, Hart. Now Reno at the top of the blue line, just going to send it back down in. Up by Billy Sweezy, the freshman defenseman from Hanson, Massachusetts. Yale sends it into the RPI end. Stopped there by Perry. Reno has it behind the net. 2 forecheckers for the Bulldogs. As that puck goes off of a Yale player just come off the bench, but not a too many men call, as his replacement was already off. Here comes DeCharle on the far boards. Has just Will Riley to beat, and that puck just went to the right of Chase Perry. I'm not sure he saw the initial shot. Now kind of a throw in by Adam Larkin. Is picked up by Bourbonnais. RPI has some numbers if they speed down ice. Melanson brings it into the zone, drops back for Bourbonnais, takes a shot. That's gloved down by Spano. On
that last sequence by the Bulldogs, nice job by Mike Prapavesas to keep Frankie DeChara out of the, Mitchell Smith out of the crease. And because Perry really had no idea where that puck was. Parapavessis did a nice job to box out Mitchell Smith.
Tough job for the D-man. Help your goaltender out when he doesn't have eyes on the puck. Face-off in the Yale zone, won by the Bulldogs. There's Mike Doherty along the near boards, tries to pass up for Ted Hart, doesn't find him, and it's going to be icing on the Bulldogs.
Big opportunity here for the Engineers, getting another offensive zone face-off.
Evan Tierney was 0 for 5 on the draw during the first period, and he certainly hasn't been very strong here in the second period either. He settles in at the dot. See if he can improve his numbers here. And yeah, we'll call that a win for RPI. It's Parapavessis who ends up with it. For Melanson at the top of the point, takes a shot, penalty coming up on Yale as Perry comes off. Tierney now with it. Melanson rips a shot and it scores! Off the post and in on the extra attacker goal for the RPI junior, Drew Melanson.
Melanson opens up the scoring once again for the Engineers as their extra skating came right on the ice. Melanson just saw the corner open and ripped it to the right.
That's Melanson's third goal of the weekend, fourth of the season, and RPI gets the opportunity to try and double dip here as that goal came technically with an extra attacker. I don't believe that extra attacker was out just yet, but it was a delayed penalty against the Bulldogs. So RPI scores, and they're off to the power play as well. The Red Army standing in front of me, so I can't see exactly who's gone into the box for Yale or what the penalty is. It's a slashing call against Mike Doherty. So just off of the game's first goal, the Engineers going back on the power play. They are 0 for 1 so far this evening. As we are back underway here at the Fieldhouse. Will Riley moves the puck across the red line, sends it in. Jacob Hayhurst is going to pick it up along the far boards. Back for Riley at the blue line. Cross-ice pass to Parapavessis. Now it's Hayhurst. Back to Parapavessis at the point. Walks through the top of the slot. Back over to Riley. Now Hayhurst. Can't control the puck, but he grabs it, sends it over to Parapavessis at the blue line. Now Riley. Another cross-ice pass to Hayhurst. Looking down low for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais sends it up for Parapavessis. Goes all the way down the ice. So RPI now will have to reset. Unforced error by RPI there. As now the puck up for Bourbonnais. But they're going to say Bourbonnais was in the zone when he received that long pass. Back in the day would have been a two-line pass, but you still can't receive the pass in the zone.
You can see now why the Bulldogs have the second best penalty kill in the country, as their press checkers up front are not letting the defensemen set up at all. Even the D-to-D passes they've required a lot of skill to get past the sticks of the Bulldog penalty killers.
Face-off coming all the way back in the RPI zone for intentional offsides. Yale wins the face-off in the attacking zone on the penalty kill. They send it in and it's picked up by Jared Wilson. Scoring on the RPI goal at 15:25, Drew Melanson from Mike Parapavessis and Evan Tierney. Has this a 1-0 game. As RPI moves in on the power play. Nanny along the far boards for Jared Wilson. Wilson down for Melanson. Melanson and DeVito trying to dig it out of the corner. Great job by the penalty killers for the Bulldogs, keeping that puck locked up. That is Lindstrand really just kind of keeping that puck frozen. RPI's got 3 guys over there digging for it. It comes out, and it comes out to the Bulldogs. 2-on-1 now. Come Yale. This is Evan Smith with his brother Mitchell. Mitchell comes across with a shot and a big save, shorthanded by Chase Perry. Now Mitchell Smith again with it. He kind of gets brought down. RPI going after the puck though, so really not a penalty. The Engineers now go the other way with it as Hayden dumps his man. That gives an open opportunity for a shot by Nanny, and that's smothered by Spano.
Nice job by Perry to slide across there and make that save. The Smith brothers really have some chemistry.
Perfect tape-to-tape pass by the brothers. Mitchell just can't get it over the outstretched leg of Chase Perry. Keeps this one a 1-0 game in favor of the Engineers. They've already changed the assists on the goal by Melanson, Evan Tierney, and Riley Bourbonnais now with the shots, with the assists as RPI gets a shot on the power play. Evan Hayhurst in the slot has that one go just wide. Now Yale tying the puck up in the corner as the penalty ends. RPI now 0 for 2 on the man advantage this evening, but they are holding a 1-0 lead with 2:23 remaining in the second period. That puck's going all the way down ice, and we're getting a whistle. We're getting a whistle here. This could be icing, or they could be calling up a holding penalty on RPI. Prapavesis was kind of holding up Snively as they were heading towards the face-off dot. The first one there, obviously, is going to be getting the call for the icing. Now the officials are conversing and seeing what they want to do. They're just going to call this icing, I guess. So kind of a break there for the Engineers. I thought Prapavesis was holding up Snively pretty well there, mostly in order to get that icing call. But they are going to choose not to call the penalty against the RPI junior.
Interesting strategy by the Bulldog penalty killers, as they really were able to tick a lot of time off of the clock by just shoving the puck into the corner and not letting anybody take it from them.
RPI wins this face-off. Morello into the corner. Bell comes to help him out, but it's poked off of his stick, and now here come the Bulldogs. Good defense by the Engineers as Yale comes in off sides. That allows Wilson to go back and get the puck unfettered. And we'll try to move the puck out of the zone now. Tries a pass to Bell, which doesn't connect, and that's going to go all the way down the ice for icing. 1:58 remaining in the second period. RPI with a 1-0 lead on Drew Melanson's third goal of the weekend.
Engineers will take the puck and take the defensive zone face-off here, and a timeout will now be called.
And this is certainly something that we see quite frequently from Seth Apper. I'd say we're probably approaching the level where it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 85% of the time that RPI chooses to call timeout. It's going to be right after an icing call to make sure that their defenders are not too gassed for the ensuing face-off.
It's a smart strategy there by Coach Apper, as he wants to get his skaters a rest, get them a drink of water, and get them ready for the ensuing face-off.
So a quick reset now with 1:58 remaining in the second period. RPI has a 1-0 lead on the Bulldogs. The goal was scored at 15:25 of the second period. Extra attacker goal by Drew Melanson with Evan Tierney and Riley Bourbonnais on the assists. Shots on goal 24-13 in favor of the Bulldogs. Yale is 0 for 3 on the power play. RPI 0 for 2. Chase Perry has 24 saves on as many shots. In net for the Engineers, Patrick Spano with 12 saves on 13 shots. So that is where we stand with just under 2 minutes remaining here in the second period.
Looking over at the Yale box, you can see they're starting to get frustrated because they're playing well. They're leading the shot contest, but they haven't been able to get anything past the stone wall of Chase Perry.
If anything, the Yale offense looks maybe just to have lost a step or two from the last couple of seasons, but they still have plenty of firepower. John Hayden and Joe Snively especially, and those guys are out here after the icing call. Hitchcock is going to face off against, looks like Bradley Bell. Looks like that's Jimmy DeVito. Face off won by the Bulldogs behind the RPI net. Reno comes away with it, sends it out of the zone. Bouncing puck taken by Matt Foley. Foley behind his own cage on the far boards, kept in by DeVito, who will rifle it back down into the Yale end. It is Hayden now across the blue line, 2-on-2, takes a shot. That is saved by Perry, and he will cover up for the whistle. And now Wilson is taking offense to John Hayden being anywhere near Perry, who had a pretty good beat on that puck and was covering it up.
Yeah, the Engineers, Jimmy DeVito did a nice job as Parker Reno went up to extend into the zone, and Jimmy DeVito went and covered him back, and it was a good thing he did because he had to play a little defense despite being a forward.
So RPI is going to get their change if they need it. Get their top line out there now. It actually looks like they've shuffled just a little bit. Bourbonnais is with Hayhurst and Tierney now on this line.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to want to get a little extra skill out there with Hayhurst.
Prapavesis and Grant on D as the Bulldogs win this face-off. And it's picked up by RPI, 3-on-2. Here comes Hayhurst across the line, looking for Tierney's. Tierney's into the corner. And it's taken by Chara. Chara can't get it out. Grant keeps it in. Grant just whips it down. That's blocked by Hayhurst, I guess, really, and ends up on the stick of Prapavesis, who spins and shoots. That goes off the side of the cage. Grant can't keep that in. That's going to go all the way down the ice. Not icing, as it came off of an RPI stick to begin with. And now we've got Grant over in his own far corner. Tierney tries to pop that out. And the puck now down on the stick of Billy Sweezy behind his own net. Tries to get a headman pass up for Hayden. Hayden will send it into the zone. That's immediately sent right back out. A bouncing puck settled by Parker Reno. Reno into the zone with 34 seconds remaining in the period. Back behind looking for DeVito. He tries to do battle with Larkin. Larkin comes away with it. He gets over for Lindstrand. And Snively gets it just out of the zone. Reno is battling with it near his own bench. And he's back to Lindstrand. Lindstrand a D-to-D pass for Larkin. Larkin up for Hitchcock. Hitchcock brings it across the blue line on the near boards. Up for Snively. Snively takes a quick shot that goes just wide. That might have been helped wide by Perry. Now Yale behind the RPI cage. Reno trying to get his bearings. He falls down. And that's brought in by Snively, but he doesn't get a shot off, and that's all she wrote. And now there's more pushing and shoving. Snively and Wilson after the whistle. That was lightly reminiscent of what happened after the whistle last period, but only some pushing and shoving. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything more to come out of this one.
So as we end the second period, the Rensselaer Polytechnic Engineers will take a 1-0 lead here at the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy, New York.
So we'll step aside momentarily. We'll be back with our second intermission in just a few minutes. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Yale 0. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy.
The puck that ends up closest. Consideration receives a prize from Dunkin' Donuts. Get ready for your pucks in 3, 2, 1. Chuck your pucks. Elsewhere in the ECAC, all after 2 periods of play, instant activity is Union 3, round 1. And Potsdam, Clarkson 2, Princeton 1. Again, and St. Lawrence 1, Clinton at 0. And Alston, Harvard 4, round 2. Advanced hockey takes on Clarkson in St. Lawrence, the 11th and 12th of November, right here at Eastern Fieldhouse. Tickets are moving fast. Don't forget, get your tickets at the Fieldhouse box office. Puck drops both nights at 7 p.m.
And we welcome you back inside the friendly confines of the Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the third period of tonight's ECAC hockey matchup between the Yale Bulldogs and the RPI Engineers. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Yale 0. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined this evening by Joe Pisicano, and you're listening to all of this on your home for Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Before we get started with the third period, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI, RPI TV, and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. As a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24/7. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. So the Engineers 20 minutes away from a weekend sweep, although it's by no means in the bag. This is a Yale team that has been putting pucks on net in this game. They've done it to the tune of 25 total, 11 in the first period, 14 in the second, 14 being the total number of shots that RPI has across the 2 periods. So certainly some more work to do for the Engineers, Joe.
Yeah, the Engineers certainly do have a lot more work to do as they get ready to start the third period, but Chase Perry has been up to the task so far, alongside his defense, of course. Mike Prapavessis, Will Riley doing a nice job keeping the Yale forwards out of the crease.
RPI will be skating from right to left once more across your radio dial here for the third period. Very little margin for error. So surely the Engineers will be looking for I'll call it an insurance tally here in the third period. Obviously, a one-goal lead is walking the razor's edge, but you'd rather be up than be down. You'd rather be up than be tied. And RPI finds themselves in the position that they want to be in heading into the third period. They are ahead.
Yeah, you have to hope that the Engineers come out and they keep pushing the puck up the ice, because you don't want them to go back into an umbrella and sort of just let the Bulldogs keep peppering Chase Perry, because eventually one will go in. So you don't want them to get too caught up playing defense, and you want them to keep playing offense.
Those rebounds out of the way, send them into the corner. We've seen a lot more of that from the RPI defense tonight than we did last night. It has been paying off in spades for the Engineers. DeVito and Hitchcock do battle to start this period. The Yale Bulldogs win the faceoff. We are at even strength to start the third period. Snively up for Hitchcock, who takes a shot that's blocked by a diving DeVito. Snively comes away with it along the near boards. Snively up to the blue line for Larkin. Larkin over across with a shot by, like that was Lindstrand. Ends up, that went out of play. So the face-off now will come up, actually looks like that's coming out of the zone, so maybe a hand pass of some kind. 19:38 remaining in the third period. RPI still with a 1-0 lead against the Bulldogs. Tierney's against Evan Smith, so this face-off just outside the RPI zone. Face-off again won by the Bulldogs, who've been the better team at the dot tonight, sent down into the RPI end. Evan Smith in the corner, tries to get himself around Tierney's, gets it back up to the point. Now here is Sweezy. Sweezy's just going to send it in, goes behind the net, takes a shot, and that goes behind the net. DeChara picks that up. Now a quick shot saved by Perry, and it's picked up by Tierney's, and that's sent out of the zone. This is going to be icing on the Engineers, I believe. Nope, looks like they're waving it off. Okay. Now this is sent down by Yale. Will this also be waved off? Yes, it will. So back-to-back icings waved off on both teams. Polino will shuffle it forward. That at least gave both teams the opportunity to change lines. Polino takes it in now 1-on-3. Sends it high off the boards. He's the one that collects it along the far board. Tries to, at least can't. Taken by Ted Hart. He loses the handle of it. Manley over for Hayhurst. Hayhurst can't connect with Liljegren, who ends up just tapping into the zone before colliding with Polino. That allows Yale to go the other way with it. And that is Hart, who couldn't control the pass. And Polino tried to move that out himself. Now it ends up out and on the stick of Liljegren. Liljegren's going to gain the red line and send it down ice. Put by Spano behind his own cage. It goes off the skate of Hayhurst and out of the zone. Hayhurst comes back to collect it. Comes across the blue line, gets around his man, now cuts towards the net, takes a shot, saved by Spano. Hayhurst made something out of nothing right there. A kick saved by Spano to keep this one a 1-0 game as Yale ices the puck.
Jake Hayhurst really has a quick little stick. As you see him moving the puck here, and he's going to put it, it looked like he put it through the legs of Mitchell Smith, but just in front of the skate of Mitchell Smith, able to get that quick shot off, stopping on a dime. Jake Hayhurst.
RPI's fourth line out there, Orval, Bell, and Morello for the face-off in the Yale zone. Is Merlian taking the draw for Yale, won by the Engineers. Orval on the near boards. And is Dorsey trying to get it out for Yale. He'll move back. Now another battle. Comes free to Bell. Bell loses an edge. Goes down, but it's picked up by Orval. Orval on the near boards. He skates back up towards the point. Drops it for Riley. Riley tries to whip a shot and whiffs. Ends up on the stick of Foley, and he sends it out of the zone. RPI gives chase. 17:41 remaining in the third period. RPI with a 1-0 lead. Foley at the red line. Sends down into the zone. Behind the net, waiting for it is Prapavessis. He takes it over into the corner and shovels it out of the zone. And it's gloved down by Lindstrand. Big hit laid by Morello. He puts Lindstrand down. Now Morello with the puck into the zone 1-on-1. He takes a shot that goes off his marker. That was Adam Larkin. Orval goes to give chase into the corner. Bell can't grab it, and Larkin will just shovel it behind his own net.
Nice shift there by the fourth line to start the third period.
D to D pass to Lindstrand. Lindstrand has it ahead. That headman pass was for Stevens, and he couldn't corral it, so now Manley backhands it out of the zone to Nanny. Nanny up for Wood. Wood across the blue line. Here's DeVito with some space. Takes a backhanded shot that goes behind the net. And it's up for Hitchcock, who kind of just lifts his leg and moves it. It ends up down, gloved down by Perry. And he sticks it around the near boards, kept in by Snively. And now the puck just bounces out the back boards, and Perry will have no more of that. Just covers it up for the whistle.
Good play there by Perry, slowing down the play as the puck has been all over the ice to start the period.
16:41 left in the third period. RPI still hanging on to that 1-0 lead. Good opportunities both ways to start off this period. Face-off now being taken by Riley Bourbonnais. It's won by Yale. That was Evan Smith with the face-off victory. Perry's just going to come out and punch that. And now we're getting a hand pass on. Going to get a hand pass on RPI, I think.
Jared Wilson, it looked like, swatted the puck into the corner.
So they're not going to let RPI change. And the face-off comes up again in the RPI end. I'm not sure that restriction's too much. The shift just started, so Tyrannese will step in. One thing with Evan Tyrannese is in his limited time last season, he was one of RPI's better face-off takers, but he also had a penchant for getting thrown out of the face-off circle to start with. He wins this face-off, though. Reno's just going to lift that one up out of the zone. And is Anthony Walsh first back to collect for the Bulldogs. Backhands it out of the zone. Glove down by DeChara. And ends up back on the stick of Walsh on his own blue line. Back for DeChara. Intercepted by Tyrannese. He goes in the zone. Drops for Bourbonnais. Gives it back to Tyrannese. Takes a shot. Goes through the crease. And into the near corner. Picked up by Bourbonnais. He tries to keep it in and can't. It's Evan Smith sending it back out up for DeChara, but it's intercepted by Reno. Reno on the far boards. And he gets decked by DeChara, and now a whistle here. I believe they're calling, not sure what they're calling. It's not a penalty. And the face-off's going to be coming up just outside of the Yale zone.
Tyrannese and Sweezy getting a little chippy after the play.
15:59 left in the third period. 1-0 Engineers. 27-15 is the total shots on goal for Yale. That's 2-1 Yale here in the third period. DeVito is getting ready to take this face-off against Ryan Hitchcock. DeVito steps in, and we'll call that a win for the Engineers. It's back for Grant, who sends it into the zone on net. And Spano just sticks it to the left. Prapavesis intercepts in the neutral zone. Spinning is Wood. He just shovels it down into the zone. And in the corner, it is Foley coming away with it. DeVito pinches in to try to keep it in the zone. Nanny joins into battle for it along the near boards. Coming away with it is John Hayden. Hayden around his net. Brings it across the blue line. Red line. Now across the blue line. Loses control there. And Grant will try to snuff him off the puck and does. Prapavesis behind his own cage. Around to the point, kept in by Foley. Foley sends it in. Taken by Grant. Grant tries to feed it out, but that goes off the stick of Ryan Hitchcock and into the stands. So the face-off will be upcoming in the RPI end.
RPI looks to make a change here. They've had some pretty solid shifts to start the period. They have not looked outskated at all, and momentum looks to stay in their favor.
One does get the feeling that 1-0 is probably not going to be enough to win this game. We shall see as time goes on. We're down to about 15 minutes remaining in the third period as Yale wins the faceoff. Send it back into the RPI end. Stopped behind the cage by Perry. Larkin can't keep it in. Hops right over his stick. He has Hayhurst giving chase, and the pass was intercepted by Polino. Polino takes a shot, kind of interrupted mid-swing, so it goes just to the right. Now Liljegren moving in. He takes a shot. That was saved by Spano. And it comes out to center ice for Hart. Hart is in a race for the puck with Parker Reno. Reno has the edge on him and takes it away. Now Polino along the near boards will get it. Will try to move it out of the zone. He's unsuccessful on the first try. Now Hayhurst is able to get it out, but Yale still controls. This is Anthony Walsh. Takes a shot from just outside the blue line. That's easily gloved down by RPI's Chase Perry.
Nice job on that last play. Hayhurst got caught in the offensive zone and then rushed back when he saw that Polino had the puck so that Polino could make a clean entry in and get a high danger opportunity there on Spano.
A couple of guys that are not playing on the same line but showed a little bit of good chemistry right there. Gave Polino the opportunity to get a scoring chance with some good defense by the Yale Bulldogs, kept it from being a real quality chance, but certainly some open ice for Polino on that opportunity. Like they want to do this one over again. Evan Smith and Evan Tyrannese. Battle of the Evans. They're just going to do it over again. Neither man being sent out of the zone. Or out of the face-off circle, I should say. So we'll do it again with 14:22 left in the third period. Yale wins this face-off. That is Sweezy sending it deeper into the zone. Now a shot from the point, gloved down by Perry. That was a quick shot by Mitchell Smith, who was playing back.
Again, Perry not giving up any rebounds with Frankie DeCharis sniffing blood.
These Smith brothers are pretty solid. They're already playing very well in just their third collegiate game. We'll have to see how their career at Yale progresses, but they certainly have looked very impressive together out there on the ice tonight. RPI wins the defensive zone face-off. Bourbonnais tries to stick it out of the zone and does. It's back on the stick of Sweezy, and now Yale moving back through the neutral zone. That is Evan Smith has it taken off his stick by Melanson. He goes the other way with it. Melanson will shovel it down into the zone. He gives chase. He is taken off the puck by Walsh, who moves out of the zone, but it's picked up by Will Riley. Riley will just circle back, wait to regroup. Tries to get it to Melanson, but it was not a good connection. And it's picked up by Matt Foley. Now Yale looking to move it across the blue line. They get it just there, and it's picked up by the Engineers. That was Melanson with some good defense. And the Yale defense controlling it in their own end. Up to DeMontis on the logo. RPI just keeps Yale offside as Dorsey spins a bit before heading into the zone and is offside.
13:21 left here in the game. Rensselaer Polytech Engineers still holding a 1-0 lead over the Yale Bulldogs.
It is Bell who's coming in to take this face-off. Remember, Bradley Bell, a defenseman by trade, but has been playing center. Actually, he's been playing center more often than he's been playing defense so far this season on that fourth line for RPI. Puck in the RPI end. Bell takes it with him. He gets it up for Morello. Morello sends it deep into the zone. Bell giving chase. He's held up. Orval will just swing it back behind the Yale cage. Morello going into the corner to get it. He tries to send it back, but only Matt Foley there. He snags and sends it along the near boards. Kept in by Charlie Manley, who sends it back down low. Orval being harassed by Foley. Now a full-on battle in the near corner is DeSantis, who comes away with it, but the penalty being called on Matt Foley. It's a holding call. He's not happy with it, but RPI is about to go on their third power play at an opportune time in this game.
Yeah, nice job by the fourth line, just really making the Bulldogs get frustrated as they were jamming the puck down the corner. They just kept checking and really frustrated.
Not a good penalty for Yale to take deep in their own end. It was just a puck battle against a couple of smaller guys on the team, Orval and Morello. And RPI gets a power play out of it. Face-off won by Yale. They just shovel it directly out of the zone. As RPI starts their third power play, over 2 so far in this game. It's Tyrannese who will break out of his own end. Cross-ice pass from Melanson. Melanson gets his zone. RPI moving quickly. Melanson drops for, not sure, I think that was Nanny, tried to push it towards the net, but Spano gets that leg right up against the post. Slow-moving play, puck once the Engineers moved quickly into the zone. Kind of an odd change of pace, but Spano able to keep it out.
Good opportunity here for the Engineers to kind of get a little breathing room on the Bulldogs with 12:22 left here in the game.
Nanny, DeVito, Tyrannese, and Melanson all out there for RPI. 4 forwards and a defenseman. That is Jared Wilson, who's quarterbacking this second power play unit for the Engineers. Face-off won by RPI. Back to Wilson on the far boards. He takes a shot that bounces in front of Spano, but goes wide. Tierney's along the near boards has it. He gets it up for Nanny, but Nanny can't control it. Good defensive play there by Anthony Walsh, the sophomore out of Burr Ridge, Illinois, as RPI has to go back to their own end and will reset. It is Jared Wilson behind his own net waiting. Dishes it off to Melanson. Melanson has the game's only goal so far. He sends it into the zone. Spano behind his net to stop it. He sends it along the far boards and is taken by the Bulldogs out. 2-on-2 if they want to do anything with it. That is Evan Smith going forward with his brother Mitchell. Evan puts it off the far side of the net. Now Mitchell Smith killing some more time on this penalty along the far boards in the RPI end. Has it taken away by Tierney. He's been out there this entire power play so far. He sends it in and is stopped by Spano. Pravovessis tries to get over there and keep it in, and he does, but only long enough to send it onto the stick of Mitchell Smith, who sends it down basically on net. And Chase Perry will collect it and send it over for Mike Pravovessis as RPI's top power play line gets out on the ice. Will Riley moving forward. Tries a pass to Hayhurst, which goes wide. That goes all the way down ice, and they're going to call that. Nope, they're waving off the icing call. And puck comes back to the point, kept in by Pravovessis. He'll try to send it down for Liljegren. Liljegren comes away with it, sends it behind the net for Pravovessis. Now up to Pravovessis at the point. He takes a big blast. That's blocked by Hayden. Nice move by the Yale captain to get down and block that big shot by Mike Pravovessis. 4 seconds left on the RPI power play. Looks like they're going to be going 0-4-3 as they are still deep in their own end. So some looks for the Engineers, but not really any major scoring opportunities on RPI's third power play. Pass taken away by Pravovessis in the attacking zone. Some good forechecking going on there by Jesper Orval and the RPI senior captain from Rochester there, Riley Bourbonnais. Moves it out along the far boards, picked up by the Bulldogs. Doherty gets it out. RPI just sends it right back in. Charlie Curdy has the puck for Yale. Skates in front of his own net. Now starts moving forward with it. Jesper Orval gave him the space, but decided he had to go after him, and that pressured a pass that went nowhere. Now Ted Hart back in his own end. 10 minutes even remaining in the third period. RPI still clinging to a 1-0 lead. Both teams 0-for-3 on the power play as Ted Hart finds some space. He whips one just wide. Had some space to operate and didn't do anything with it. Sent in by Matt Foley. And Foley will try to keep that puck in, but it ends up bouncing, I think, onto the Yale bench momentarily. So we're going to see a stoppage of play with 9:44 remaining in the third period. RPI still holding on to a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, the Engineers holding on to a 1-0 lead, and they're not looking to give it up as they've been keeping pressure in the offensive zone.
Shots on goal a little bit more even than they have been here in the third period. And Yale still has a 4-3 edge here in the final stanza, but they are maintaining a 29-17 edge in total shots on goal. Pretty decent couple of first and second periods this weekend by RPI sophomore Chase Perry. He played last night and picked up his first win in net for RPI. Didn't give up any goals in the first 2 periods and was actually less than 2 minutes away from his first RPI shutout, but was denied by an extra attacker goal by Brown in the waning moments of that game. He is standing tall so far in this one, 29 saves on as many shots, but his team in front of him have given him very little margin for error so far in this contest, as they've been able to put only one past Yale senior Patrick Spano.
Yeah, not too many great opportunities on their power play as you would have liked to see with an opportunity given there by the referees, but the Engineers look to go back to work.
Robbie DeMontis will settle in for Yale. He will face off against Evan Tierney's. Just to the right of RPI's Chase Perry. And linesman Mike Emanation sees something he wants to rectify. Okay, he wants both players out of the face-off circle. So instead, well, I guess Evan Tierney decides he wants to stay after all. And they're going to let him stay in there and take the face-off, and he wins the faceoff. Riley Bourbonnais moves it out of the RPI end. Pass up for Tierney is too far. He gives chase, and the first one there is Matt Foley. Foley falls down. Stevens collects it and sends it along the far boards. Melanson is there to keep it in, but only for just a second as it's brought out by freshman Will Dorsey, making his collegiate debut here at the Fieldhouse tonight. Anthony Walsh across the blue line. Sends it in easily kicked aside by Perry over into the corner. I believe that is his 30th save of the evening. And RPI gets it out of the zone momentarily, sent back in by the Bulldogs, who are changing. And kept in there by Mitchell Smith after a weak clearance. Now a shot by Larkin, who's deep in the zone, and Perry had to be sharp to keep that one out. Was able to kind of just block that down with his chest and into his glove for the whistle.
Yeah, good movement by the Bulldogs, but Perry able to slide across the crease to make the save. And again, great defense by Jared Wilson, not letting anybody near the crease to get the rebound.
Larkin, the junior out of Clarkston, Michigan, is tied for the team lead in goals with Ted Hart. Both of those gentlemen have 2 goals in the 2 games that they played heading into tonight's contest. Larkin was well deep in the zone on that one. Face-off win by Yale heads to the side of the cage, but Perry taking no chances. He's just going to freeze that one for another whistle. 8:50 now remaining in the 3rd period. Quick face-off now just to his left. Won by the Engineers, Prapavesis. Along the near boards, cross-ice pass. Picked up by Hayhurst. Hayhurst brings it into the zone. He stops, waits, looks up. Grant has some trouble settling it down, but keeps it in the zone. Sends it behind the net. It's taken by Polino. Polino now with Hayhurst goes for it, and Larkin takes Hayhurst down, and Polino is not happy. Whipped his head, very upset. RPI still controlling the puck though. Extra skater on for the Engineers, and now the whistle blows. Larkin's displeased. Evan Smith is not happy. He just took down, I think that was Hayhurst again. No, Woods down in the corner. Larkin really only has himself to blame for that one. I think it's going to be a holding call on the Yale junior, and that is in fact the call. So not a good time to take a penalty if you're Yale.
Larkin not happy. He thought Hayhurst grabbed the hold of his stick in the corner before going over.
And it looks like he was right too. But he knew immediately that call was going to be against him, and it was. It's you can't see, if you could see through players, you could make that call. But RPI was they ended up with kind of a bum call last night on almost the same play. So maybe a little bit of karmic justice for RPI here. It's just if you're Yale, you kind of wondering exactly what you have to do with that. But RPI going back to the power play. They're 0 for 3 so far this evening. They win the faceoff in the attacking zone. Tierney shovels, try to keep it in. Was picked up by Yale. The Bulldogs now going back with it the other way. They need to be a little bit, maybe a little bit more aggressive on this penalty kill. It already looks like they are. Hitchcock takes it into the corner. He's going to be a little bit content right now to just try to kill some clock, but if RPI is going to let him continue to hold it, they're going to move it. Sweezy now at the point. He takes a big blast. That's blocked by DeVito, who goes down and is having a hard time getting back up. He's trying to skate it off. He's heading over to the bench. He's kind of favoring leg of his.
That shot looked like it hit him in the ankle.
Yeah. Just a reminder, you listen to live coverage of Edgar's Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy, as Evan Tierney cuts through the defense in the slot, but can't get a shot away and loses the puck and ends up going all the way down ice. Big opportunity for Tierney, so just turned a kind of a milquetoast move into the zone into suddenly open ice, almost point blank, but couldn't get a shot away. Now RPI moving back up ice halfway through this power play. Still 1-0 RPI. Yale will send it down ice. And Prapavesis now looks to reset, gets it around the forechecker. Up to Hayhurst. Hayhurst brings it into the zone. RPI looks to set up on the power play. Hayhurst in the corner, up for Prapavesis at the point. He fakes a shot. Riley tried to take a shot and ended up in the corner instead. And now Yale will take and go the other way with it. This is Mitchell Smith across the blue line, one-on-one. Takes a shot, glove down by Chase Berry. And a good move there by the Yale freshman to try to turn something, or really try to turn nothing into something there. Just put some shots on goal, even while killing a penalty. Make Chase Berry make that save, and he certainly did.
Yeah, the Rensselaer power play not looking too strong here in the 3rd period.
Power play has been one of the items that RPI certainly needs to improve on this season. They've been unable to get past one of the better penalty kills out there. In fact, the best penalty kill in the nation that they could possibly face. So RPI brings it back into the zone, still on the power play for the next 10 seconds. Here's Polino, puts it around for Orval. Now comes free to Orval, has some space, takes a shot, goes off the glove of Spano. Polino almost directs himself all the way into the net trying to get that rebound. there was no rebound to be had as it ended up behind the cage. Now Polino at the blue line. Power play is over. RPI now 0 for 4 on the man advantage. Wood into the far corner. Still has it in the RPI attacking zone. That's shoveled in by Orval. Another good shift here by the 4th line for the Engineers. Polino doing battle with Orval in the corner. This is what got Yale into trouble a little bit earlier. These two guys are not the biggest guys on the team, but they're kind of chewing up clock right now as we get under 6 minutes to play. That certainly is something that matters. And once again, it's a power play for RPI as the much bigger Billy Sweezy puts Jesper Orval down on the ice. And that's going to put RPI back on the power play. I was just saying, these two guys, they earned RPI a power play earlier in this game, and they just do it again right there.
Yeah, Jesper Orval standing at 5'9", 170. Much smaller compared to Billy Sweezy, 6'2", 204. But if you're not disciplined, you're never going to be able to make it.
Yeah, he can obviously overpower him, but that was a little bit too much power. So RPI goes back to the power play at an opportune time for them. Certainly a bad time for Yale to get back on the kill. If nothing else, an opportunity for RPI to hold a puck and a shot and a goal for the Engineers. That shot was taken by Mike Prapavesis. That's right in his wheelhouse. I think that got through everyone. We'll see how it lines up. Victor Liljegren is leading this charge. He might have tipped that one in front. But regardless, Mike Prapavesis setting that shot up. Looks like Liljegren's going to maybe get credit for this one in front. We'll see who ends up with it. But regardless, RPI with a key insurance marker late in this game on the power play puts RPI up 2-0 on Yale.
Prapavesis has been playing great at the points all game, so it's a really, really good job by him and well-earned point.
Liljegren was absolutely right in front of that net. I would not be surprised if they call this a goal for the RPI junior ahead of Stockholm, Sweden. Absolutely, that overhead shot just redirects that one past Patrick Spano. And yeah. Victor Liljegren's got RPI up 2-0.
Spano really had no chances. That was a great play by the whole Rensselaer power play as Yale was overextended on their penalty kill. They were doing a great job attacking the point man, but quick passing by the Engineer power play and allowed Prapavesis to get a wide open shot at the net.
And once more, you have to tip your cap to Jesper Orval for basically creating another power play for RPI just by tying the puck up and frustrating Yale in their own defensive end. Yale wins the faceoff in their own zone. It's sent down by DeChara. Yale needs a goal and they need one fast as time is getting a little bit tight for them. We're getting close to 5 minutes remaining. They are down by 2. Shot bounces a couple of times. Perry wasn't able to get himself in front of it, but it ends up harmlessly wide of the net. Yale still buzzing in the attacking zone. Foley, a D-to-D pass across. That's a whiff by Curdy. He tries to send it in, but it's intercepted by Jared Wilson, who sends it out of the zone. And Yale will have to go and regroup.
Also of note for the Engineers, Jimmy DeVito coming back on the ice after taking that puck to the ankle and ripping off.
That is very crucial for RPI. He's one of their only right-handed forwards, so it would be a big loss for RPI. DeVito now behind the Yale cage battling with Walsh. He's going to be content to just fight for it. And the more time that the Engineers can bleed off right here, the better. And now we're going to have a boarding call. I think they're going to get Nanny for this. So it is Lou Nanny heading off on a boarding call at 4:20 with 4:27 remaining in the third period. And Yale's power play is about to head back to work. They are 0 for 3 so far on the power play tonight, but if they were going to get one past the nation's best penalty kill, now would be the time to do it.
And the Engineers got to be strong. They got to win this penalty, this face-off here in the defensive zone to start the power play.
It is Jacob Hayhurst. Once again, both guys getting kicked out. Hayhurst and Hitchcock both sent out, so Hayton is going to do battle with. Looks like that was Tommy Grant that took that penalty here, that face-off. Won by the Bulldogs. Snively takes a shot that's blocked. Now there he is back to Curdy for Snively again, but it's sent out by the Engineers with 1:42 remaining on the penalty to Nanny. 4:06 remaining in the contest. RPI up 2-0 as Yale looks to move forward 4 wide across the ice. Snively across the blue line up for Hitchcock. Hitchcock looks for Snively, who I don't think he was expecting the pass, but took it in his skates and kept it anyway. Now Snively behind the net gets locked up by Reno. Now the pass back for the sophomore is taken by Reno. Tries to get out of the zone, kept in by Walsh. Now Curdy on the blue line, just keeps it, almost left the zone on his own. Curdy over to Snively on the near boards. Sends it into the slot, picked up there by the RPI defense. They'll send it right out of his zone. Curdy was down to try to stop that one, but it hopped right over his hand. And now Yale will have to go back and regroup. 56 seconds remaining on the penalty to Lunani. Larkin is across. He is up to the goal line now. Tries to leave it back. It's dropped off for DeChara. Frankie DeChara on the near boards. Lindstrand back to DeChara, looking for Mitchell Smith. That goes wide. Now Lindstrand up for Larkin. Takes a shot, and that's in. Nice shot by Adam Larkin. I think that was a rebound that ended up in the back of the cage. Puck got behind Perry, and a Yale stick poked it in from there. And with 2:59 remaining, Yale gets themselves on the board. It's a power play goal. And I think you can credit Frankie DeChara for that one. He is the first in the receiving line for the Bulldogs, but some good stick-to-itiveness from the Bulldogs on that power play. They finally get one past Chase Perry. Yep, that was DeChara just crashing the net. That's what you do in that situation. And we are back to a one-goal game. It's 2-1 RPI.
Yeah, Frankie DeChara, he's been trying to get in front of Jared Wilson all game, and Wilson's been doing a nice job of boxing him out, but that time he sneaks in from behind the net to get that rebound.
So we're back where we were to start this period. And we saw some good play there by Adam Larkin. We've been seeing him going down low in the zone with some frequency, especially on the power play. And he made that pay off right there as Yale gets themselves on the board. He's scoring for RPI on their power play goal at 14:33 of the third period. Victor Liljegren, his first goal of the season from Mike Pratt-Pavessis and Jacob Hayhurst, made 2-0 RPI. And it looks like the official scoring on this goal is going to be Frankie DeChara on the power play from Adam Larkin at 17:01 of the third period. A power play goal makes it 2-1 RPI. We'll see if they add a second assist. Sounds like they are. Chandler Lindstrand with the second assist on that one. So we're just under 3 minutes to play. RPI now back to clinging to a one-goal lead. Yale has tasted the net for the first time tonight, and now it's time for the RPI defense to buckle down.
Yeah, the Engineers really need to close this game out. They need to keep playing strong keep playing strong in the neutral zone, get some strong passing from between their forwards and their defensemen.
The Red Army favorite drill guy has arrived. Looks like they want to make sure that the RPI cage is going to be well placed for the next 2:59 or better. Net was dislodged when DeChara crashed the net. As the officials consult with the ubiquitous drill guy, who leaves to grand applause from the Red Army. Always a fan favorite here at the Fieldhouse, oddly enough, the aptly named drill guy. Joe, I know you're really a freshman, but I believe this is a new drill guy, actually. So.
Red Army likes to get everybody involved as they chant drill guy. So big face-off coming up here for the Engineers with 2:59 left in the third period. If you're just joining us, the Engineers are up 2-1 over the Yale Bulldogs.
This is the face-off off of the Yale goal. Only the fourth power play goal given up by the Engineers this season. The penalty kill has been a bright spot for both these teams, but both have given up a power play goal tonight. As the puck ends up down in the RPI end, Tommy Grant dishes behind him for Hayhurst. RPI trying to go the other way with it. And that was just a bad move by the Engineers. It was Merlian who puts a shot on and is kicked aside by Chase Perry. RPI now trying to quickly counter the other way with it. Hayhurst gets held up moving into the zone. He takes it over into the corner, and now a penalty coming up on Yale. That is the case. It's a holding call. They said they were not going to let this kind of stuff go. Hayhurst was being held up heading into the zone after shoveling it down ice.
Yeah, nice job by Hayhurst to draw that penalty.
Terrible by a senior. Terrible move by a senior right there. That was Hayhurst moving into the zone after the puck And Doherty's going to get called for holding with 2:25 remaining. RPI can kind of treat this power play as kind of an opportunity to kill time. If they get to the end of it, whether they score or not, they'll either be up by another goal or there'll only be 25 seconds left in the game. So
you have to watch out for the Smith brothers, though. They've been known to push the puck out place on these power plays.
They've been aggressive on these penalty kills, and now Yale is certainly in a position where they have to be aggressive on the penalty kill. RPI wins the faceoff. Melanson's just going to keep taking it into the corner, kill some more time. That's exactly what you need to do if you're RPI right now. It doesn't matter if they score. They just need to try and milk more of this clock. They have the lead. It's late in the game. Puck ends up down ice. Perry mishandles it at first, but sends it around to, looks like, Bourbonnais as he moves into the zone, takes a shot. That's saved by Spano. Trailing is Melanson. He can't get a shot off, but now a Yale defenseman doesn't have a stick. Shot by Wilson goes off of Hayden, and now Hayden will chase after Wilson going into the zone. I think Hayden's a little bit lucky. He didn't get called for an obstruction call there as Wilson had the edge on it. Now a big hit by Hayden, and that was laid on, looks like, what, Morello down there in the corner? Melanson. Anyway, Yale still with the puck, killing the penalty, but with the puck in the attacking zone. Snively in the corner for Hayden. Oh, back over for Snively in the corner. Larkin tries to keep it into the point and can't. Here comes Bourbonnais, one-on-one. Has space, but he stops and slows down. Just takes it over into the corner, giving more time for the Engineers. 43 seconds remaining on the penalty to Doherty as Yale looks to break out of the zone. Here comes Evan Smith along the near boards. He's taken down by Grant, and that's going to be a penalty on the RPI sophomore. It's a holding call. It's exactly what we've been talking about, same type of play. Grant takes down Evan Smith, who did a great job moving the puck down ice, and they have been calling this all season. It's really no surprise that they were going to call this right here. So Tommy Grant, with kind of a defensive move since it was down on the RPI end, takes a penalty with 55.9 seconds remaining, and we will see 4-on-4 for the next 31 seconds, and then a Yale power play to end this contest. If there are, well, it's going to be a Yale power play anyway, regardless if anyone scores in the next 31 seconds.
Yeah, and you have to expect that the Bulldogs are going to pull Spano once that power play comes on and get that extra skater. So the Engineers are going to really have to get their best penalty killers out.
They may well pull him right now. The faceoff coming up in the RPI end. They can start this off 5-on-4 to begin with, and then potentially make it 6-on-4 with about 20 seconds or so left in the game by the time Doherty comes out of the penalty box. RPI still with a 2-1 lead, but they'll be trying to desperately hold on to that lead for the next 55.9 seconds as Yale calls timeout.
Yeah, if you're Yale, you have to watch pulling the goalie, though, once the power play comes on, because then the Engineers are free to send the puck down ice without any fear of icing.
That's always the danger. RPI can take pot shots at the open net from wherever they want to on the ice if they're down a man. But obviously they'll be down 2 skaters for the last 20 seconds of this game, which makes controlling that puck a little bit more difficult. So if you're Yale, I think you probably take that chance absolutely. Down by 1 in the last minute of the game. Looks like Spano is going to be on the bench. So Yale will be 5-on-4 now, minus their netminder.
DeVito here taking the face-off after limping off the ice earlier in the period.
DeVito will be facing off against John Hayden.
It looks like 4 seconds have been added to the clock. They now reach 59.3 as opposed to 55.9.
Just a little bit of extra time now for the Engineers to have to kill. Essentially, they're going to be killing penalty for the rest of the game if they can't put one into the open net here in the final minute.
So once again, a big face-off for DeVito.
Engineers win this face-off, but not terribly cleanly. Reno behind his own net sends it up. That's easily taken at the point by the Bulldogs. That was Walsh keeping it in. Now BL with it along the far boards. Sent in looking for Hitchcock. He grabs it, tries to get himself around Prapavesis. Back up to the point for Walsh. Walsh across for Curdy. 41 seconds remaining. Curdy over for Snively along the near boards. Back up to Curdy to the point. Curdy looking, stops, waits, takes a shot, blocked by Bourbonnais, and he just sends it out of the ice. 30 seconds remaining in regulation. 3 seconds remaining on the penalty to Doherty. He's about to come off. Yale's going to be 6-on-4. 24 seconds remaining. Yale gains the zone. Shot goes in. That went through the 5-hole of Chase Perry. Not a great shot, but it didn't matter because was not fielded cleanly by the RPI netminder. So the 6-on-4 converts for the Bulldogs. That is John Hayden, who's going to get credit for this one with 18.6 remaining in regulation, and we are tied at 2.
Yeah, the Yale captain making a smart decision, just throwing the puck at the net, and it got a couple bounces. Perry couldn't seem to keep his eye on it.
You know, that's all you need to do sometimes is just shoot it.
And they've been doing it all game.
It seems simple, but just shoot the puck and see what happens. And right there, they got a good bounce. Ended up evading Chase Perry, who has been fielding ones like that all day, but just couldn't keep that one from going between his legs and into the net. And we're back square. It's 2-2. Yale wins the faceoff. Send it back down into the RPI end. Perry thinks about grabbing it, but decides to let it run. It's up for Melanson now along the boards. He might just be content to tie it up with 5 seconds remaining. And now a penalty on the Engineers at a terrible moment. A tripping call that's going to go against RPI. I think this is going to be on Wilson. Yep, he is skating off. 3.9 seconds left in regulation.
The Engineers just falling apart almost here in the final stanza of the game.
That was an ill-advised move by the RPI junior for sure. So now RPI with their own bad penalty in their own zone. And should they get out of this next 3.9 seconds, they'll be killing a penalty in overtime. RPI wins the face-off, but I guess they want to do it over again. They want to do it over again, and they want the time added back onto the clock because the clock started on the drop of the puck, as one would expect. Certainly not the first time in this game we've seen the puck drop, but then they decide they want to do it all over again. So we'll put another second back on the clock. It reads 2.8 right now. They want to put 3.9 back on there, and there it is. Also resetting the penalty to Wilson. So face-off coming up. DeVito wins it back once more, and that's just shoved into the corner. That should be enough to end this period, and it does. So RPI was pretty close to getting out of here with a victory. They were up 2-0, but give full credit to the Yale Bulldogs. They did not quit. An extra attacker power play goal by John Hayden at 19:41 of the third period has made this a 2-2 contest.
So it looks like we're going to need a little extra time to decide this here as the players get a quick water break with a nice 2-minute water break here at the end of regulation, and they're gonna need to get a little extra juice to wake up for this final.
This is one that if RPI isn't able to find the game winner in overtime, they're going to look back on this one late in the season and remember that this is not the way you want to finish a game. Up 2-0 with 3 minutes left. If they can't find the game winner, they're going to be dropping points in this one, either at least one and potentially 2. You can't give up 2. You certainly can't give up 2 points in a game that you led by 2 with 3 minutes left. But it would hurt it would hurt just as much, or almost as much, to come out of this one with a tie. This would be a bad tie for RPI.
Yeah, and Yale's had all the momentum since that 2:59 mark here in the third period, as when the Engineers were on the power play, they were swarming their own offensive zone, specifically the Smith brothers.
And they certainly weren't typical Yale goals either. I mean, Yale the last several years have been known for creating good goals by playing just a really beautiful style of hockey. But the Bulldogs here late in the third period just dug down and got 2 really gritty goals. One was just a crash of the net by Frankie DeChara that put in a puck that was behind Chase Perry. And then with just a handful of seconds left in this one, it was a bouncing play by John Hayden that just was the result of just throwing it out and see what happens. And he was able to get one past Chase Perry. So RPI kind of in a hole here. They're down a man, and they've blown a 2-goal lead with 3 minutes remaining in regulation. They're going to have to dig deep on this penalty kill, try to keep this one square at least until they can get their extra skater out there. Or I should say their fifth skater out there, their regular skater. Jerry Wilson as the guilty party in the box. It won't be easy. He's an important penalty killer for RPI as we're underway now in the overtime period. Hitchcock brings it across for Snively along the far boards for Curdy at the point. Curdy back to Snively. Snively looking up, looking at Curdy. Here, pin dropping here right now. Walsh behind the net. That goes in front, and that's, where's the puck? It's in the net! Yale has scored just a few seconds into overtime on the power play. And that's all she wrote here from the Fieldhouse. The Engineers dropped this one in heartbreaking fashion, 3-2 to the Yale Bulldogs, a team that looked almost ready to be buried. Finds a way to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and this one hurts for RPI.
Yeah, Jake Wood has not let his eyes drop from the ice. He is sitting there in front of the net. He cannot believe what he has just witnessed.
And once again, an ugly goal for Yale. They just threw that one in, and there was a scrum in front. I didn't see who that was that put it in ultimately. I think that might have been Chris's Merlian. Nope, that's going to be John Hayden with his second goal in about 30 seconds of playing time. He just kept whacking at it with 3 RPI players in front of Chase Perry, who was looking for the puck. Couldn't find a way to fall on top of it. That puck is still sitting right there in the back of that net, exactly where John Hayden put it. So full credit to the Yale captain and draft selection of the Chicago Blackhawks, who had a little bit of a rough start. His first couple of years in Yale weren't nearly as strong as I think a lot of people thought that they were going to be, but he had a breakout year last year, and he already looks to be on pace for a solid year this season. That was his second goal, as I mentioned, his second goal in about 30 seconds of playing time, and his third goal of the season in as many games. So a big start for John Hayden, but for RPI, an absolutely crushing defeat. They were so close to getting a weekend sweep, so close to a shutout for the second night in a row, and it's just the last 2 minutes of the game. Things didn't go the way that they needed them to go.
Yeah, and
they end up on the wrong side of the 3-2 loss.
It really stings because they played well. Even if they weren't carrying the momentum of the shots, they were playing good defense. They were back checking hard, and then the last 2 minutes of the game, it just looked like no matter how many times Coach made a shift change, it didn't matter. They just didn't have that juice that they needed in their legs.
And a lot of it still ends up coming back to stuff like taking bad penalties at the wrong time, and that's absolutely what happened with Jared Wilson in his own zone in the waning moments of the period. He really didn't need to go after his man the way he did. Ends up taking a tripping call with basically 4 seconds remaining in regulation, which ultimately sets up the opportunity that Yale had to score the game winner in overtime. The way that the game-winning goal was, there's an extra skater out there for Yale, more or less, and the extra skater is the one unmarked, finds the puck, and just manages to jam it into the back of the net.
Yeah, unfortunate run of events here at the end of the game for the Engineers, but you got to look at the positives. They played strong. They had some tough players. They had some tough plays out there. They made a couple nice moves there, specifically Jacob Hayhurst doing a nice job with his skill, swinging around the net, forcing some nice opportunities. Unfortunately, you got to be able to finish a game.
RPI, who had given up 3 power play goals all season heading into this contest, gives up 3 power play goals in the span of about, well, more or less a little bit over 3 minutes of play to drop this game against Yale, and they fall to 1-3 on the ECAC schedule when they were pretty much looking down the barrel of 2-2. It's going to be tough, but RPI's got to find a way in practice to find a way to bounce back from this one. They've got another big home weekend coming up as Clarkson and St. Lawrence come to town, and you've got to take advantage of as many opportunities as you have to take points at home. They didn't tonight. They're certainly going to need to get some next weekend, or this season is already going to be starting to look like a lost cause with far more road games left to be played than games at home. I will run down the scoring in this one, and Joe will give us his RPI offensive and defensive players of the game. No scoring in this one until late in the second period, as Drew Melanson gave the Engineers a 1-0 lead on an even-strength extra attacker goal with the delayed penalty forthcoming at that point. Melanson scoring his 4th goal of the season with the assists to Evan Tierney's and Riley Bourbonnais. That goal came in 15:25 of the second period, gave RPI a 1-0 lead that they carried into the third. RPI then got another goal at 14:33 of the third period power play goal. Tipped in front by Victor Liljegren, his first goal of the season, with the assist going to Mike Prapavesis, who provided the big blast from the blue line to set that one up, and the secondary assist to Jacob Hayhurst made it 2-0 RPI. They kept that lead until there were just 2:59 remaining in regulation. That's when the Yale onslaught began, as Frankie DeChara scores his first goal of the season on a crashing play from a shot by Adam Larkin, who picks up the primary assist, and Chandler Lindstrand the secondary assist. Power play goal at 17:01 of the third period made it 2-1 RPI. Yale tied the game with under 30 seconds to play at 19:41 of the third period. A power play and extra attacker goal scored by John Hayden. His second of the season from Ryan Hitchcock and Anthony Walsh made it 2-2. That carried over into the overtime period, just 23 seconds into overtime on the power play. John Hayden, second of the night, third of the season. The assists to Joe Snively and Ryan Hitchcock. The Engineers fall in this one by a score of 3-2. The Bulldogs scored 38, or I should say they had 38 shots on goal against just 21 for the Engineers, including the Bulldogs scoring on the only shot of the overtime period. Yale was ultimately 3 for 6 on the power play, all 3 of their goals coming on separate power play opportunities in this game. The Engineers were a 1 for 6 on the man advantage this evening. Patrick Spano picks up the win in net for Yale. He made 19 saves on 21 RPI shots. Chase Perry, the hard luck loser in net for RPI, 35 saves on 38 shots faced. So the Engineers will fall ultimately in this one. They fall. Their overall record now 2-6-1. They are 1-3-0 in ECAC play, and the Yale Bulldogs improved their overall record to 2-1-0. They are 1-1 in ECAC play. So Joe, your offensive and defensive Engineers of the game.
So for the Engineers on offense, I'm going to give the start of the game to Victor Liljegren. He had that deflection, really good eye by Victor in front of the net on a Mike Prapavessa's shot. And for the other offensive player of the game, I'm going to give it to Jesper Orval, as he was really a force down low along the boards, forcing several power plays for the Engineers late in the game. Unfortunately, they were only able to capitalize on one of them, but even though he didn't do any actual scoring, he gave the Engineers opportunities. And on defense, I'm going to give it to Jake Wood, as he made several gutsy plays, whether it was play along the boards or a tough block shot from the point, as well as Jared Wilson. Except on that one goal by Frankie DeChara, he did a nice job boxing out in front of Chase Perry all night, and also did a nice job to save the loose pucks that went behind him.
Although ultimately one of the leading causes for the loss is he took that penalty right at the end of regulation that put RPI behind the 8 ball. They were not unfortunately able to recover. So kind of a black mark on what really was otherwise a pretty decent game for Jerry Wilson. I have to agree. He was important for RPI for much of the game, but you're sitting on the penalty box in overtime as the other team scores.
That was also his, I believe, third penalty of the game.
Yeah, it was not a strong night penalty-wise for Jerry Wilson, who took 2 penalties. He was called for holding the stick in the first period, and then was called for tripping with 4 seconds remaining in the regulation. Not good there, but otherwise, when he was on the ice and not taking penalties, certainly a much better night for Jerry Wilson than last night. Okay, we'll be stepping out of here momentarily. Before we leave, we'd like to make sure that you're aware that the next WRPI sports broadcast will be coming to you here from Houston Fieldhouse on Friday night. That is the 11th of November, as the RPI Engineers take on the Clarkson Golden Knights in ECAC hockey play. The puck drop for that one will be at 7 p.m., so expect an on-air time of 6:45 here on WRPI. We would like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Port your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI is broadcasting. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. I'd like to thank DJ Toast back at the station for getting us out on the air and keeping us there. And that's about it. I'd say that's about it. So for Joe Piscano, my name is Tom Reel. The Engineers lose a heartbreaker here to the Yale Bulldogs 3-2 in overtime. You've been listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.